All right, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live stream vid. I just want to make sure everything's okay. Sounds looking good. Uh, yeah, my audio, obviously, my clarity is obviously looking good. So let's get right to it, guys. Before I do that, let me go ahead and immediately post a link in the chat and into the to the private chat as well. So if anybody want to jump on, because we got a lot to talk about. Very interesting conversation today. Let's see. And get in here real quickly. I should have thought I did this earlier, but oh well. All right, give me a minute here. Give me one sec. All right. So let me go ahead and send this link to the chat for everybody to come in and chime in because I know, I know a lot of people are eager to get this underway. All right. Let's see. And the last one. Where's mine? All right. Jump in, people. All right. So there we go. All right. What's happening? Oh, what's up, chat? What's up, guys? Ralph Unreal says Gypsy King Fury. Yep. What up, Joe Host? Thanks, man. What up? I told everyone he would win. Yeah, let's talk about that, Ralph Unreal. Shizbiz, what's up? Big up to you, man. The Boxing Lounge, big up to you, brother. Percy, what's happening, man? Let's talk about that. Yeah, I was, we were both on, we were both right about our predictions because I did favor Fury to win on my mind, but I wasn't too sure given the what the situation he was going through his training camps and him being question him being unmotivated. I thought that was going to be telling, but I will say this though. Let's put all that aside. Some of the the allegations and the bullshit excuses that Wilder came up with after the second fight, telling these stories about Fury allegedly cheating. Put that aside for a second, and we'll get back to that later. We have to say this was one of the best heavyweight fights I've ever seen. The trilogy itself, in my view, is probably one of the greatest I've ever seen out of the heavyweights. Okay, the first two fights definitely had controversy. The first fight had a draw. Wilder, with the two knockdowns against Fury, people felt Fury won because they thought he outpointed him for the most part. But to be fair, though, all that showboating doesn't make you win the round. So that was my only argument there. The second fight was very conclusive if it weren't for the third round knockdown. And I've been telling people this too in the second fight. Wilder, you could argue Wilder was up or he was it was 1-1. It was 1-1 before the third round because he was actually doing pretty good until he got caught with that shot, back of the head shot in the third round, and then he didn't recover. Of course, that was a conclusive beatdown for the most part, but the third fight, oh my God, that was a war. Okay. So let's be honest here. Yes, Deontay Wilder took a hell lot of punishment in that fight. And that proves to everyone. He proved everyone that that he's a warrior, which he proved that in the second fight. But he's got a hell of a chin. Okay. And another thing too, Tyson Fury took a lot of punishment in this fight too. Let's not get it twisted, to Fury fans. You can say, yeah, you guys have your victory. Congratulations. Yeah, Tyson Fury earned that victory. But at the end of that fight, he leaned on the ropes after the fight was called off. He knew he was in a war and he was hurt and he was exhausted too. So both men were in a hellacious war. But for the most part, Deontay Wilder really took a lot of punishment. And that was due to the fact that he was exhausted too. He spent a lot of energy, especially after the third or fourth round, trying to get Fury out with all his power shots early. And that was a mistake. And I'm going to get into that. I just think that, let's go ahead and go over this piece by piece. All right. I'm going to post a link to the chat. Anybody wants to come on. First round, Deontay Wilder outboxed Tyson Fury. Very surprising. He outboxed Tyson Fury. He was working the body. He was keeping his jab. He was establishing his distance with the jab. And at that point, Fury looked a little confused. He didn't know what to do. He was just trying to figure out, okay, how do I? This guy's keeping me at bay with his jab. He's punching me in the gut. He's he was doing that. But the only mistake at the end of the round, Fury caught Wilder with the 1-2 at top at the end, and that really stunned Wilder at the end. Wilder won that round, but the 1-2 it hurt him at the end. But Wilder really outboxed Fury in that round. That was surprising. He did that. But as everyone says, and Mike Tyson has one of his famous quotes, everyone has a game plan in a fight, but until they get hit, it all goes out the window. As soon as Wilder got hit at the end of that first round, he reverted back to his old self. He panicked because he was like, oh, fuck. This guy came at me with a 1-2, so I can't, rely on the body, hitting on the body. So that was a mistake right there for Wilder for the most part, because he abandoned the game plan as soon as he got hit at the end of the first round. Okay. When I think Malik Scott was pleading him, and he told him what he needed to tell him. He yelled at him, was like, dude, work the body. Stop panicking. Okay. Touch him up. The thing is that he wasted his shots early, man. That was a mistake. Given the fact that he's at 238, that's not Wilder's optimum weight. That's not his optimum weight. He looked like he was in shape, but wasting those power shots early really exhausted him. It is amazing how he went 11 rounds. It's amazing that he did that. Say what you will about the guy, but that man has tremendous heart, tremendous spirit. Yeah, the one knock on him, I would say, though, I agree with Joe Host on this one, is that Wilder should have showed some form of respect. Regardless what you think about the man, you should have congratulated him. Okay, you should have done that. You should have done that, Wilder. You could have, look, you get credit for your heart and your tenacity and the will not to quit in the fight. It's just that Fury has your number, man. He has your number. At this point, he does. And to be fair, Wilder, let me go ahead and now, go ahead and analyze this fight piece by piece. In the second round, that was a very close round. It could have gone either way. You could score for Wilder, you could score for Fury, but I lean towards Fury in that round because I thought he did a little bit better work in that second round. Third round, obviously it was a Fury because he scored the knockdown because he was pressuring Wilder to the ropes. And that's the thing about Fury. When he knew he was going to get outboxed in that first round, he's like, fuck that. I'm taking it to you like I did the second fight. All right. Well, he hit Wilder. He pinned him to the ropes. Into the ropes, and then he hit him with a barrage of 1-2 with the left hook and right hook, and then he finished up with the uppercut to put him down. Wilder got up, and then the third round ended. Fourth round come. Fury's chasing Wilder. Next thing you know, he walked into a 1-2, and that was a monster shot that Wilder landed on Fury. Fury went down. He went down bad on that shot. He got up. Then he went down again with what is arguably a behind the head shot. Now, at the end of the round, there was a bit of controversy there because a lot of people, Andre Ward, an ESPN commentator, thought that referee, Russell Moore, gave an extreme long count to Fury in those two knockdowns. Now, to be fair, yeah, Russell Moore did do that. But to be fair, he did that also gave Wilder long counts as well. So we got to keep it consistent here. He gave Wilder long counts as well. But yeah, he definitely gave Fury a lot of time to recover after those two knockdowns in that fourth round. So definitely 10-7 round for Deontay Wilder. Okay. The fifth round, Wilder won that round because he was letting his hands go. He was pushing Fury back in that fifth round. Fury did some good work there too, but I did give it to Wilder because he started off very early. He landed some very good shots, powerful shots that is. And Fury went back to, at this point, Wilder was very exhausted. And Fury, think about Tyson Fury. He was badly hurt in the fourth round. The fifth round, he took some monster shots, but his recuperative powers are amazing. It's on par with guys like Evander Holyfield, whatnot, who, as a natural cruiserweight, his recuperative powers in his prime was astonishing too. So, I could say one thing, man. Then the sixth round, Fury kind of somewhat took over after that. And the thing about that too is that Fury would start the rounds very, superbly. But at the end of the rounds, though, Wilder would end up hurting Fury at the end of those rounds. And let's not get it twisted, guys. Fury was getting hurt at the end of the rounds because he kept getting sloppy, trying to come inside and rush Wilder. And that's the thing Sugar Hill was yelling at him in the court. It's like, dude, stop fucking rushing in on him. Get his ass out of there, but you got to protect yourself. So again, this was not an easy fight for Tyson Fury. It took him a lot of work to get Deontay Wilder out of there. And to be fair, though, again, Wilder got stopped the way he did. That was more due to exhaustion, in my view. But at the same time, he was taking a lot of shots because it was a matter of time before he was going to get knocked out. So, anyhow, going into the 9th and 10th, that was definitely Fury's rounds. The 11th round, he scored the knockdown. And then, the 10th round, he scored the knockdown with a monstrous right when Wilder came in with the left hook to the body, or the right hook to the body. And then he tried to swing wildly with the left hook that left himself extremely open. And Fury caught him with the right, and Wilder went down. He got back up. And at the end of that 10th round, what did Wilder do? He hit Fury with a chopping short right in the corner. It spent Fury around and hurt him with a barrage of punches at the end of that round. So, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. At the end of the round, you thought Wilder was going to knock Fury down if that round went a bit longer, because Fury was hurt, was hurt again. Again, he was hurt at the end of that round when he knocked Wilder down. So then the 11th round, yeah, the writing was on the wall. Wilder didn't really have much left. The only thing he tried to do was survive on instinct, hold on to Fury. But the one thing he made a mistake though when he was holding on is that he tried to put his head in the chest against Fury, which is the ideal thing to do when you're in the clinches. But Lennox Lewis did say it best though. It's like, dude, you gotta stop putting your head down because you're keeping yourself open with uppercuts. So what Wilder should have done is that when he's gonna hold him, you hold him on you pin your chin on his shoulder so that way you can kind of protect yourself. But it's just that he didn't have no strength left, man. He didn't have no strength left. He had no energy. He wanted to keep going. And at the same time, he's still throwing some powerful shots, too, while he was exhausted. So the 11th round was the exclamation point. Great fight, man. Hell of a fight. Wilder, and yeah, Albano boxing. Wilder did much better in this fight than his first two fights with Fury. Fury took a lot more punishment in that fight than anyone's ever given him. We got to admit that. You got to admit that. He took a lot of punishment in that fight. He knew it again. He knew that. He was leaning on the ropes at the end of the fight. He knew what he was where he was in. All right. And after the fight, yeah, we all know Wilder. He went over there to try to congratulate Deontay Wilder. He wanted to show him respect. That Wilder wasn't having it. And that's just sour grapes on Wilder, man. He should have at least done that. All credit to him. All credit to him for fighting the way he fought as a warrior, but you should at least went out high with your head high and say, you know what, the better man beat me that night. And Malik Scott had to come out and say, yeah, Fury was greater that night, and Wilder broke his hand. I'm like, well, obviously he was going to break his hand because he was wearing MX Everlast MX gloves, which are puncher's gloves, which has less padding. So, and Wilder's known to have broken his hands with those gloves for years. So that's why he was wearing the foam version of the Everlast gloves to protect his hands. So great fight between both men. And as Joe says, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight the chat. Shout out to Raphael Dawkins in the chat. Yeah, it wasn't looking good on his part, but I think for the most part that kind of outweighs what it does outweigh a little bit more on the effort that he gave in that fight. And me personally, I thought this fight was going to go the distance. And I was one round off. I was one round off. Okay. If that fight went the distance, I think Wilder would have gotten the decision because of those two knockdowns, the fact that he was hurting Fury at the end of those rounds. So that will persuade judges. So, and he did better in the first two rounds. So you could argue he won the first two rounds in the fight last night. So, Joe Host also said that Shizbiz says that Wilder was a zombie for the most of the fight. Yeah. The exhaustion, all that extra weight, wasting the shots early, trying to get Fury out of there. I knew that's probably what their game plan was when they bulked up the way for Wilder the way he did. And you're not going to do that against a guy like Fury. You're not going to do that. So he should have came in at 226. And I've said this early before the fight. He should have came in at 225, 226. That's more of his optimal weight. But I think what they were worried about is building strength so that way Fury doesn't have that way they can try to offset the fact that Fury was going to lean on him. And another thing I have to argue, too, is that Russell Moore did a decent job, I will say. But he did warn Fury once in that fight, stop headlocking him. And what did Fury do? He continued to headlock Wilder. And that's like the only gripe I have there. And he didn't warn Fury again after that, but it is what it is. Shout out to Mark Breland. Yeah, Mark Breland did save his career after that second fight. So let's put that to bed at this point. And I've said this consistently. He saved Wilder's career. If he didn't do what he did, we probably wouldn't have solved the third fight. Joho says that both men are never going to be the same again. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's going to get into my next topic here. I'll get into that shortly. Good fight, Glassjaw AJ. We'll talk about Anthony Joshua in a second too, so we got to bring him up. But Shizbiz says that it seems that he never worked on his legs. You know what? That is true, but I don't think the legs are the issue, man. I think it's just more as the exhaustion that he had, man. He was just fatigued in the third or fourth round. He just fought on, pretty much in the fourth round. He fought with instincts after that, and it was surprising that he went that long, and he took all those monster shots from Fury. It was just amazing the durability that he has. And let's be fair though, since we brought up Anthony Glassjaw AJ, that's his avatar name. But since AJ's being brought up here, it's arguably that Deontay Wilder is more durable than Anthony Joshua. No question about it. I'm sorry, he is more durable than he is. So I don't think Joshua would have lasted that long, especially him being fatigued. And Joshua's known to have stamina issues. Endurance issues has always been his problem throughout his career. So yeah, but again though, aside from this bad sportsmanship, Wilder gave a lot of heart. We got to give his hats off to him, man. We have to do it, and I'm glad to see Fury fans are doing that because most of them know that Fury was in a fight that he could have lost that night. He knew it. So, let's see. Albino Boxer says that Wilder did better than the last fight. Yeah, I highlighted that there. Raphael Dawkins says that Wilder was on fumes in the fourth round. Yeah, absolutely he was. Lemon Pepper Chitlin says that Larry Fury long count or ring doctor giving Wilder extra time again like he did versus Ortiz. Well, to be fair, both men got extra time. In fact, I think in the ninth round or something, or eighth or seventh round, I think Fury was some doctor looked at Fury too. He looked at him. So yeah, both men got extra time in this fight. Both men. I thought Fury was carrying Wilder from round 7. No, he wasn't. No, Fury was not carrying Wilder. No, don't do that, Lemon. You're trying to give Fury too much credit. No, he wasn't carrying him because if he was carrying him, he would be. Let's just say after the end of the fight, yes, he celebrated, but when he celebrated, he leaned on the ropes, showing exhaustion and pain. He knew he was in a very difficult war that he could have lost. So I don't buy that carrying the fight argument. Now, if you want to talk about carrying the fight, you're referring to a Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather situation when Mayweather pretty much left that fight unscathed. Yes, he took a couple of shots, but after that, he knew that he could beat Conor McGregor, so he carried them on so that way he could make the fight look interesting. So, yeah, I don't agree with that argument there. Fury didn't carry Wilder. No fucking way. No way he didn't carry him. He tried to get him out of there early. He tried his best, but he couldn't do it. Wilder was losing on the fighter scorecards going into 11. So if it was a 12, Wilder would have lost on points. Yeah, he would. I did say that he probably would have gotten the decision, so I'll take that back. You're right about that, Percy. So thanks for correcting me on that. Derry Penn said, I still want to see AJ Wilder, though. It makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense at this point. And the reason why I say that is because both men took a lot of punishment in their recent fights or previous fights. Both men did. And AJ and Usyk, I know that rematch is going to happen in either spring of next year, which is either February or March. I want to be honest with you, Joshua does not have a chance against Usyk. Will he do a little better? Maybe. I know people are suggesting that you need to impose your will. You got to use your size and your power, but that's not going to work against a guy like Alexander Usyk. I'm telling you that right now because Usyk was expecting that in the first fight and he didn't get it. So that's why he came out and said that fight would be the first fight with Josh was easier than he thought. Because if AJ is going to try to do that against a guy like Alexander Usyk, who's proven that he's got durability, who's proven that he's got endurance, who's proven to got great defense, if you exhort that type of attributes against a guy like that, especially with a guy like AJ, who's known to have endurance and durability issues, that fight's going to end that fight's going to end pretty quickly because Joshua just doesn't have those attributes. I'm sorry, he doesn't have the durability, endurance to apply the attributes that people are suggesting he should do going into the rematch against Usyk. I just don't see it, man. I'm sorry. He doesn't. He just doesn't have it. I mean, me personally, I wish he shouldn't take the rematch, but it is within his legal right. And I said the same thing about Wilder after the second fight. He should take the Fury rematch, but it is within his legal right to do it. But I just don't see this fight with Joshua Usyk being any different. I don't see it. I could be wrong because this is heavyweight division. Everything's unpredictable, but I just don't see it at this point. Steven says Percy Wilder won rounds 1 and 4. He won, yeah. He could arguably he won round 2, but I think the judges gave it to Fury. But round 5 he won too. So I gave Wilder on my card. I gave him 3 rounds. I gave him round 1. I gave him round 4, which is a 10-7 round, or 3-point round. I gave him round 5. So you could argue that he was in the fight with those 3 knockdowns, with the 2 knockdowns in the first and the 5th round. So he was pretty much in the fight, but after the 6th or 7th round, yeah, Fury pretty much took over at that point. And again, though, when Fury did take over, he was still catching some monster shots. He was still getting hurt at the end of those rounds. He was still getting hurt. So, yeah, it was a hellacious fight, man. Hellacious fight. Percy said, I don't know if Wilder's more durable, to be honest. If Fury had more power, he would stop him early. Well, I disagree there. As Joho said, I disagree there. Fury definitely has the power. He definitely has the power. So he'll be a pill-fisted. Nah, man. I've said this for a long time. He's never been a pill-fisted guy. This guy's got power. So look, Josh, he took some monster shots, man. Look, this Wilder's got durability. He has it. He has it. What up, Apollo? Raphael Rafi says that I gave Wilder 1 and 2 round. I gave Wilder 1 and 2. I mean, yeah, he arguably won the second round. 1 and 2 rounds. I mean, I actually misread that. You say you gave him only 2 rounds in the fight. I think that's unfair to say. He definitely won the 5th round in my book. He did. I think the judges scored the 5th round for him too, because he started off very strong and then he ended the round pretty good. So if he did have some success there, so it was an even round in my view. Fury, Joho's, Percy said, well, if Fury's in the power punch, in a sense, he's being a knock. Well, look, you don't have to be a power puncher to not have power. Because Fury's knockout ratio is above 70%. So I don't know. I mean, again, Percy, you're my boy, but I disagree with that. You don't have to be a power puncher to be a knockout artist. You don't have to be a knockout artist to not have power. Let's put it that way. You don't have to be. So let's go down to another list of topics here. Let's have this conversation. It's pretty much a yes or no question. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder trilogies ends in a war. Is this one of the greatest heavyweight trilogies of all time? You guys state your opinion on that. Let me know. Is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury trilogies one of the best heavyweight trilogies we've ever seen? Yes or no? If you ask me, yes, it is. Despite all the controversy and all the ridicule and the excuse making that Deontay Wilder had after the second fight, let's put that all aside. The third fight, oh man, that put an exclamation point, exclamation cap on that chapter. An exclamation point, I should say. Yeah, let me do that, Rafi. I'm gonna go ahead and put up a poll right now. That'd be easier. Let me see if I can do that. Give me 1 second. Well, in fact, this is my first time ever trying to put up a poll. Let me see. How do I put up a poll here? Yeah, let me see. How do I do that? Is it the brand? No. Private chat? No, it's not private chat. Let's see here. How do I put up a poll? Give me 1 second here. I'll figure it out. Prime Roy Jones or Deontay Wilder? That's a tough one. Ideally, Roy Jones would probably outslick him because of his reflexes and his quick hand speed. But I think Wilder would catch him because Roy Jones didn't really have a great chin. He didn't have a great chin, so Wilder would have caught him. So I I would say though, being a bigger man with a longer reach and a freakish power, I would say Wilder. I'm sorry to say that. I like Roy Jones, but he only had one fight at heavyweight against John Ruiz, who's not known to be a. I mean, he could punch, but he just didn't have the attributes of Deontay Wilder. That's John Ruiz. So, um, you will see a little graph. Okay, let me see. Where's that graph then? Give me a minute. Do I do that when I upgrade my plan? Because I don't see a graph here. I only see yeah, because if I upgrade my plan on StreamYard, then maybe I will be able to put up a poll. I think that's probably what the situation is. I only have the basic service. Is that the thing, Rafi? Click on little graph. I mean, yeah, there is no little graph here. Yeah, like I said, I only have the basic service. I don't know if that's anything. Oh, by super chat. Okay. How do I enable that? Okay, let me go to my. Okay, I got it. Let me go to my channel here. I probably have to go to my YouTube page and do it. YouTube Studio. Come on, come on, come on. All right. All right. Let's see. Oh, analytics. Okay, here we go. No, it's not analytics. Hold on. That's just looking at my. No, look on you. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Rafi. I'm looking on YouTube right now. So I clicked on the analytics. Let's see what I have here. All right. Let's see. Oh boy. Content, playlists, content. Yeah, bear with me on this one, guys. Just bear with me here. All right, so definitely on analytics, because you say that's a graph. I have to go there. All right, how about poll? All right, hold on. I'll figure this out. Reach, engagement, audience, revenue. Go to creator demographics. Let's take a look at that. On the YouTube page, this is a streaming online. Okay, let me try that. All right, let me go to my channel and see where we go. Okay, streaming live. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, I see it. Answer your questions here. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Ralph. Let me go ahead and copy and paste that right here on the banner. So that way it makes it easier. Let's see. Let me go ahead and edit this. Copy. And I'm going to paste it. All right, guys, go ahead and answer in the chat. I put up the poll. So thanks. All right, so let's go ahead back into the engagement here. So, yeah, let's see. Thanks, Ralph. So, if you ask me, I put up a poll, guys. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. What's up, big boys? What's up, man? So yeah, definitely a one of the best trilogy fights, heavyweight fights in my book. Definitely one of the best trilogy fights I've ever seen at heavyweight. Now, I'm not sure if anybody would agree to this, but I should put this in the poll too. I'll probably ask this other question. Do you think we should see a fourth Wilder and Fury fight? If you ask me, not right now. I think that ship has sailed for now. I think this fight should have ended the way it did, regardless who the winner is. Uh, who answered no? But anyways, that's somebody's opinion, Joe host. Uh, that must have been Rafi. And Percy, okay, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but me personally, I think it is, in my view. Despite put the controversy and all the excuse making on the side by Deontay Wilder, you have to admit that was one of the best heavyweight trilogies. That's just me. That's just my opinion. That's everybody's opinion. So whatnot. What else is gonna say? I was gonna put another question in the chat. Yeah, the fourth fight. The fourth fight. Not right now. That if you ask me, definitely if both men continue their careers and they put on a string of wins, if Tyson Fury continues the direct trajectory that he is, and Deontay Wilder bounces back with the string of wins, even capturing a world title somewhere, then yeah, fourth fight would warrant it down the road like Marquez and Pacquiao did. But not right now. Not right now. I agree with Percy. Definitely. I mean, he says no to a fourth fight, but definitely not immediate. I don't think it should happen anytime soon. Maybe down the road in the future when both men are out of their prime and they decide they want to do it again. That's up to them. But no. Yeah, hell no. Yeah, I think we're all done with the shenanigans on this fourth of the Wilder Fury thing. It's the chapter is closed. Let them move on to something else. Steve says great fight, absolutely. So leads to my next question. Where does both fighters go from here? If you guys look at the ticker on my live stream. EJ's come in. No fourth fight, please, yo. Haplo type says that Fury should fight Usyk next. Pay AJ Septicide, guarantee him an undisputed fight. Well, that'd be ideal, but AJ has to go ahead and he just exercises rematch clause with Usyk, so that's not going to happen. That would be ideal, but again, AJ is going to fight Usyk, and I don't see that result going any different than it was in the first fight between Joshua and Usyk. I'm just being honest. It was a great, entertaining trilogy, but it wasn't the best for me. I enjoy Holyfield a little more. Yeah, I agree with that. Big boys. I think Holyfield and Bo. I just don't. I mean, there's many other heavyweight trilogies that were greater than Holyfield and Bo. Like I would say, Ezra Charles and Jersey Joe Wilcox. They fought a quadrilogy, and Ezra Charles won 3 of the 4 fights. So, yeah, and Jersey Joe got him, at the 4th fight at the end, and that closed their chapter many years ago, decades ago. So, rest in peace to both men. AJ needs time. We need undisputed. Yeah, I agree. He definitely needs time. And Steven says no need for a 4th fight is done. Fair enough. No, AJ needs time. We need undisputed. I agree, but AJ is not going to step aside. He's not going to do it. Fury has to fight White. Yeah, that's the thing, though. As far as undisputed is concerned, all the mandatories will be called. So the undisputed fight is not going to happen probably another 2 years. I'm just being honest. All these mandatories are going to be called. A lot of guys are going to be waiting to get their shots, like Joe Joyce, like the Daniel Dubois, Dillian White. So Philip Herkovich, who's in the IBF ranking. So all these guys are going to are in line to get their title shot. So you can forget about undisputed. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. Hello, Grace Salvador. What's up, EJ? EJ, unmute yourself.
Yo, what's going on, man? What's going on, Dan? How you doing, man?
I can't hear you. Hold on.
You can hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, EJ, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, I'm talking now. You hear me?
Wait, hold on.
Yo, what's going on, man? What's going on, Dan? How you doing, man?
I can't hear you. Hold on. Yeah, can you repeat that?
Yes, Dan. What's going on? You hear me?
It's my headset. Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm gonna get on my other headset. Hold on.
All right, cool. No worries, man. People, I'm gonna hold it down, man, while Dan sorts himself out.
What's going on? You hear me?
What's that? Rafi. Rafi's out of the ring. What's it?
Hold on, man. Hold on. I'm gonna get on.
Hell yeah. Great. Joe host, Hapo tight. Raffy, the Raff Dog, Dawkins, Combat Radio is in the house. What's going on? Stephen 47, 22. Big boys boxing. I know you could hear me. Dan can't hear me. So that's why I'm holding down the show. It's a shame. Yeah, I'm sure Dan reading out your comments. Keep them coming. Dan's sorting out his audio, man. Yeah, we try and make it seem like it's everyone can hear. I know I'm talking. You can see my bloody volume going up. What a night, man! What a night, man! The landscape of the heavyweight division is officially turned over, man. Is it for the good? I'll say, listen, as long as the best win, what can you do? You know what I mean? The best fighting the best. You know, I went on a lot of LDBC channels, and they're giving the credit. Everyone's saying it was a great fight. Like, see, people need to stop all the hate. I hope all the hate's gone. All the division, all the division on both sides, and just enjoy the box. You hear me down there? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now, man. Yeah. So,
yeah. All the division needs to stop, and everyone needs to come together. We used to we actually all used to all talk to each other. You know what I mean? At one time, we were all actually friends, and and all of a sudden, people decided to go one side and said, "You guys on the other side, and we're gonna keep it like that." When you see how that's gone, it's not healthy. But go ahead, Dan, talk your piece.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. The chapter is definitely closed now. You got to say this, and I said this earlier when I set up my live stream. Both men were in a war with each other. Both men were. And you can say what you want about Deontay Wilder. That man showed a lot of heart that night. A lot of heart. Fourth round, he was gone, exhausted. But he kept going. I'm surprised that he survived 7 rounds to take the shots the way he did and give it back the way he did against Tyson Fury. Say what I know the Fury fans, I'm glad to see some of them are saying, yeah, you know what? Our guy was in a war. That was not an easy fight. He could have got knocked out, especially in that 4th round. He could have got knocked out, but he kept going. He's got great recouping power, so he kept pushing forward. All right, that's called great durability. Not worrying about getting hit. It's about what you give back. Okay, The man knew after he scored that knockout in the 11th round, he leaned on the ropes, and they had to gather him. His team. He knew he was in a he knew he was in the war. He was exhausted too, and he was hurt. Both of them were, but obviously Wilder had gotten more, got the worst end of it. But still, though, dude, that's why I was leading to my next question here. Do you think both men' careers are not going to be the same after this? I know particularly Wilder is, but what about Fury? You think his career's changed after this?
He ain't the same. Yeah, he's not the same. He's not the same. Like, people can say he's got a great chin and all that stuff there, but boy, he went down hard, man. And I know he went partying and all them stuff there, but the concussion what he took, I mean, obviously Wilder took the worst of it, but he took that lick hard, man, and he went down twice. You could see when he stepped, his legs went underneath him, and he was just laying there like, how the heck did I get here? You see him thinking, and then he got up, right? And I know people talking about the count. I counted it was 9. He got up at 9, so that's out the window. And the second knockdown, he went down, but they damaged each other, man. They really did. I mean, anyone saying they didn't, I knew already that they're gonna take something out of each other because the rivalry is so heated. And Riddick Bowe, Evander Holyfield. I remember when that finished, you kind of thought Evander Holyfield was done, but nah, he reinvented himself. Boxing's strange like that. So I don't know. If it depends who Fury fights next. Everyone wants to see him. Fury probably wants an easy touch up. But the thing is, you can't go from that's your first defense, so no one can tell you haven't defended your belts before, and then defend it against some bum. So you're gonna fight either what's his name again? Daniel, maybe Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, any of them guys there, because the WBC want to unify the belts. So you're gonna get a hard fight. It ain't gonna be easy, but I don't know, man.
It's funny though. Yeah, Usyk, I think, has a better shot at being Fury. But let me just say this, though. When they asked him at the press conference, Dillian White's waiting in the wings. Who do you want to fight next? And you know what Fury said? He said, man, I ain't thinking about that right now. I'm going to just go home with my family. I'm going to take 6-7 months off. He ain't thinking about no other fight right now. No. He knew what he was into that last night. He knew. Yeah, that's not. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Yeah. He spoke. He spoke. Proudly. That's admirable of him. But he knew that. You know what? This is going to be much tougher for me than when I went through the night. And these guys, these heavyweights are hungry right now, man. I don't know if I'm going to. He probably, to me, he had the kind of a look that dude, I gotta be more strategic now. I probably shouldn't even take the Wilder fight when they call. I mean, the White fight once they mandated the WBC if he gets past all. I'm sorry.
AJ fight is gonna be AJ's gonna be more on it. He ain't gonna be so late lash days. AJ's gonna be better. If AJ gets past Usyk, he ain't gonna be better. That's a hard fight. Like, but these are the things that will make you great. These are the things that keep heavyweight division is why the heavyweight division is no division. You can be outboxing someone like Fury clearly was, and then Wilder lands a shot like bang. But it's you know when amazingly that how guys are getting up. We're used to guys getting up, but there's gonna be a time when Fury's never gonna get up. He gonna get up. That's what he always does, like the Undertaker. There's gonna be a time when he gonna get hit, and he's like, "Nah, I ain't getting back up, man. I'm staying right here on the canvas." Because what you mentioned, Dan, is that when you asked him, "Oh, you gonna fight again?" No, I don't want to hear about that. Bro, that guy needs only my lights, bro. I don't need none of that. You know what I'm saying? Wilder's still bitter. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he still believes Fury cheated on him, and he ain't gonna give him no thing. But end of the day, this man nearly finished me off, man. Like that knockout wasn't like the last knockout. That knockout, the first knockout he got in, that was a violent knockout, man. I see the vibrations go down his body. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of both. It was it was the impact of, hey, what's up, Rafi? It was the impact of the punch, obviously, and then the exhaustion. If you attribute that as well, he didn't have much in his tank, man. But it's surprising he kept going though. I thought this fight was going to go to distance as I predicted, but I was 1 round off. So yeah, go ahead, Rafi.
So yeah, greetings, gentlemen. How you doing, Dan?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing, EJ?
Yeah, what's up, Rafi? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. The vibrations, man. The vibrations. Yo, so stamina.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was bad. Gassing out like that in 3 rounds. What's that all about, Dan? Talk to me.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, Wilder outboxed Fury in the first round. That I didn't expect that. And I think the mistake he made is that he loaded up on every single shot in that round, even with the jab. But like, dude, what are you doing? Stop doing that. All you have to do is touch him.
Who does that?
That's a good thing. You don't do that. I'm sure Malik Scott should have told him that. It's great you did there. You know, he got clipped at the end of that round, but still, though, he wanted it. But the fact is you don't load up early on your shots. You know, you power shotting too early. You need to place your shots better to conserve your stamina because you've got a lot of bulk on you.
You know why he gassed out? You know why he gassed out? Because he don't breathe. I know this already because I told my guys about that. They don't breathe. When Wilder throws him punch, he holds his breath. That's why he gassed out.
Yeah.
That's why he holds his breath. And then when Fury got in, Fury hit him to the body, so he wouldn't let him recover. Like Fury this is what I'm saying. The way Fury, how you break down any fighter is you build the foundation, you hit them in the body, and you don't let them recover. All them little body shots we saw, tip taps, they were wearing him down. That's why he didn't recover. Now, why his stamina went, Rafi, is again when he's throwing them punches. And he's holding his breath. Well, that's what Malik hasn't taught him. He hasn't taught him to breathe when he's throwing the punches, and that will keep him going on because he hasn't needed to. Then also he hasn't taught him how to tie up and how to work inside. So that's why I said Fury is the total package. He knows how to breathe. You see his muscles; it was relaxed. You know what I mean? You can be muscular, but you need to have to breathe as you're throwing them power punches. Watch him holding his breath, and when he finishes, he goes whoof. And that's when he's holding his glove. That's when he's holding his gloves together. You see when he's got his gloves together? That's when he's trying to that's when he's trying to recover. And when he's trying to recover, that's when Fury's putting it on him.
But you know what though? Can I say something? Can I say something real quickly, Rafi? BG London, shout out to BG London in the chat. He said that he was replying to Big Boys. He said, "You think the weight was a bad idea? Because if Wilder was a lighter, he probably would have got more hurt, in my opinion." You know what? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting point because if he came in maybe around 220s or like 220s, I know that's his optimal weight. He would have been much faster on his feet. He would have had his reflexes, but could he withstand the punishment that he took from Fury in that fight last night if he came in the 220s?
Maybe he needed the weight. Maybe
he did, yeah.
But you know the problem with the weight is he got it the wrong way because he was working his upper body when he should have been working his legs. The weight should have been directed towards the lower half of his body. That's where you get the stability. That's where the power.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But to be fair though, Joshua's got good leg. He's got I'm not no homo here. He's got nice sized legs, but his punch resistance. But his hold on, AJ. But
But Joshua's durability, which is punch resistance, is pretty bad. So I don't think the legs would have been made much of a difference. But as far as his balance is concerned, I agree with you on that one. It would have helped his balance if he had, yeah. But
yeah, Fury actually said Wilder actually hit harder, but Fury said I don't care. Like, he's mad. Like, Fury's actually crazy. He said he actually hit harder. So, they knew there was actually hitting harder, but at some point, what came down to it, he wasn't intimidated by him. You know what I mean? He's like, I beat him before, I can beat him again, and I know I can beat him. I know exactly what he's about. Fury's seen some in his early career, in boxing or bare knuckles, or whatever he's done. He's seen people like Wilder, intimidation and stuff like that. You're not really about what you say, and you know what I mean. And that's what it was about. It was about belief and desire. And even though Fury was like, I'm gonna prove it on you, Fury was like, yo, this guy is lethal. Any second, Wilder is exactly what he said. Any second in the fight, he strikes. But the thing is, after a while, he because he didn't have to breathe. And I'm telling you straight out, I knew what it was because I was in a amateur boxing the other day, and the kid started off the same way. Wilder's muscular, and then his brother, and there was other pro fighters around him, and he started up putting hands on him. And I was looking at him, right, and I see him just when he's throwing his punches, he's holding his breath. The other guy came out, he was relaxed. You can obviously see that guy's had more sparring. Fury sparred many rounds. Remember, Wilder's a knockout artist, so his thing is to knock you out, right? With explosiveness. So he doesn't working on his breathing and going the distance. Remember, Wilder's not used to going the distance either. So then when you look at it, if you look at it on a Tataro, Fury's been the distance many times, 12 rounds, this, that. He's got more rounds in the books. He knows how to recover, and he was all rounded, and that's why he beat him. Wilder got to wake up early in the morning to beat someone like Tyson Fury, and that's what it was.
Yeah, but to be fair though, despite the punishment he took, though, I would say something real quickly, Rafi. I would say though, despite the punishment he took, as far as his offensive arsenal, he did show some improvements. I will give him that. But I just think he should have applied those tactics a lot better. But he did show some improvements. He was working the body. He was establishing his jab early. He was putting his punches together rather than rely on that one shot. But as soon as he got hit in that first round, like I said, though, I think that all went out the window. He panicked, in my view.
His defense is absolutely abysmal. It's terrible.
And that's another thing. That's another thing I had to point out. Why wasn't he keeping his hands up? He kept his hands low all the fucking time, man. I'm like, dude. I think this was the one thing I have to tell. I would have a critique on Malik Scott. He should have told him that. Keep your hands up, bro. You keep getting clipped. And why are you moving to your left? You're to your right. Not to your right, to your left, where you're backing up. Because you keep doing that, you're going to get hit with that right by Fury. And that's what it was.
Wilder's defense was to hold his chin up high in the air, walk backwards directly in a straight line, and arch his back.
Yeah, so he could catch Fury coming in and lunging because he had success, got him in the fourth round. But, look,
his chin's waving in the air.
Yeah, he should have kept his chin tucked in. Yeah, you got to keep your chin tucked in, bro. You got to. And, dude, it was a very look, the better man won last night. My guy didn't win. It's disappointing, yes, but I'm not mad at all. But I am very disappointed at Deontay for not showing the good sportsmanship at the end. He should have done that at least, but at the same time, I think his performance kind of outweighs that a little bit. So I think people are kind of like somewhat forgiving in that situation, but it is what it is, So again, I'm going to ask you guys this question. I think I asked EJ this question. I'm going to ask you, Rafi, this question too. Both men took a lot of punishment. I know Wilder got the worst end of it, but do you think both fighters' careers are not the same after this fight? What do you think, Rafi? Hello, Rafi? Oh, he's on mute. Oh, all you guys on mute. All right, fair enough.
I'll go.
Yeah,
he's done, man. He's done.
Well, I was just saying. Well, both Fury and Wilder, both careers are not the same. Both of them. What do you think?
No. They definitely Fury, but obviously Fury won, so the winner kind of comes out. But in terms of, if you remember again, these are contenders coming up. So as you can see, they're watching these guys kill each other backwards and forwards, right? So if you're Fury, like, you can't fight one of these live contenders because they're gonna ambitious like Otto Wallim. You see Otto Wallim put hands on him. So Fury's best bet is to knock off Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, and Usyk. Any of them three, that's it. And then he can call it a day. He doesn't need to prove anything else. He could call it a day now actually and say, you know what, I beat Klitschko, I beat Wilder. Anthony Joshua's a dosser. I don't need to defeat him, and his fan base will be happy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, in terms of where they are, Wilder's looking at this. Yeah, he's a guy that Eddie Hearn and them guys they try to block in the first place. Luckily, PBC and Top Rank are actually talking, so Wilder there is a way for him to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in terms of value, Wilder's value is stock is risen. I mean, it's the first time that people actually come out their seats and actually gave these guys a round of applause. And Wilder's got his respect, man. That's one thing out there. We can critique what he ain't doing, his chin, his defense, but that's who he is. He's Wilder. He gonna load up with the right hand, and we gonna sit there and we gonna say, he's getting outboxed, and he gonna let the missiles go, bro.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Interesting point by Big Boys, though. He said that I think Wilder knew that he had to get Fury out in the 6th round. So before the 6th, I think it was the same for Joshua against Usyk in the rematch. Yeah, I mean that's a fair point because it's no way Joshua's going to he can't win the fight on distance against Usyk. That's not going to happen. So the best way to do is try to get him out early. That's the only thing he could do to win that fight. But my fear is that if Joshua does like what Wilder did, spend your energy early against a guy like Usyk, who's proved to be very durable, who's proven to have a good chin, durability, who's proven to have great endurance, has proved a very great defense, far better defense than Fury. So if you do that against a guy like Usyk, you're bound to get knocked out. I'm sorry to say that. So, you're bound to get knocked out. So Joshua's definitely going to go for that, but it's just. I don't see that Usyk and Joshua fight rematch be any different than the first fight. I know you guys may disagree, fair enough, but I don't see it any different. Will Joshua make any adjustments? Absolutely, but nah, I don't think. Usyk's gonna win that rematch. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. My opinion. Let me look at the Kornacki fight. Oh yeah, did you guys take a look at that one? And Robert Helenius?
Yeah, that was good, man. Helenius is a problem, bro. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. There's some lively guys out there. I know he lost to Dillian White, but he said I think he broke his hand. But man, he beat Kornacki like Kornacki was a little boy, man. He's smacked him around. You saw the difference as a big man. He's another guy. He's got a very good jab. His right hand was lightning. He sparred Wilder. He came in with some real confidence. I think a confident Helenius is what we've seen. I think he's a problem. I think beating Kornacki twice. I think he one shot away from getting a title shot. There's a lot. Fury. Listen, that guy. You see Fury against one of them guys there. It's a good fight, because this guy's he's 6'6".
Right.
It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight.
It's a good fight. Speaking of Helenius and White, Helenius, I gave him the first 4 rounds in that fight against Dillian because he was making Dillian look bad in that first 4 rounds.
I put money on that fight. I thought Helenius was going to win the fight.
Yeah, he hurt Dillian a few times in that 4 rounds too. Yeah, I thought he was going to stop him.
But he's a bit of a coward though, Helenius. That's the thing about him. When things ain't going his way, he don't want it. You know what I mean? And but for some reason, he just looked at Kornacki, and I think he's been with Al Heyman and getting new leash, and whatever's happened, they've gave him a new leash and said, "Yo," and Andy Ruiz is over there. They got a lane. They've got all the PBC's got a lot of heavyweights over there, and that Frank Sanchez, he's PBC, right? He is. Yeah. My gosh, he's a problem, man. He is really good, man. I was like, whoa, he schooled Effie. Effie looked like a big dude. He made Effie look like an idiot. Effie's a dangerous guy, but Effie looked like a robot out there, man. Very basic. I'll tell you what.
F.A. I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say though, F.A. he's a problem too because he's too upright. He's very stiff. Yeah, he doesn't not have a good chin. His punch resistance is worse than AJ's. I'm just being honest. Worse than AJ.
I'm not sure, but I know Frank Sanchez. He would be a problem for AJ, a problem for Usyk, and definitely a problem for Tyson Fury because the way he moves and the way he trains from South Orthodox and he can explode. I'll put money on that Frank. Man, he looks old as dirt, but that guy can move.
Yeah, he can fight. He can move and fight.
That Sanchez guy there, he's like a Cuban guy, yeah, Cuban fella.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be about 28, looks like 38 minimum, yeah.
Yeah,
you can tell by the forehead, man. You can see it in the forehead. I'm sorry that FA lost because I enjoy the knockouts that he brings. Sanchez, to me, is more of a spoiler. He's a spoiler. He stands back. He's got a very good defense, and then he pounces with a 1-2, and then he gets back. He's back on the ropes again. Leans back. Pounces, gets out of the way. It's a horrible. To me, it's a great start for the fighter because he's not going to get as much brain damage. So it's great for him. But to watch, I'm afraid it's kind of horrible, man. Horrible.
I liked it, man. I liked it because you know why? Are you against Effie Jobber? You made one mistake, and there's so. And remember again, they're both top guys. They're trying to get to the top, and it's like one mistake. So he did what he needed to do to get to the top. But I'll tell you what, if Effie would have pressed it, he would have got knocked out, bro. The way he fights, Effie said, you know what? He's a bit dangerous, you know. Because Effie never thought, you know, I'm gonna roll up and try to intimidate him. He intimidated Effie Jobber. He put because his hands were so fast and explosive. Effie, so he controlled him. He showed him that I can knock you out. And Effie said, okay, then. And then he just boxed him to a point decision. And that's what he did. He's very intimidating, man. I'll tell you where these Cubans, I don't know where they get them heavyweight Cubans, Ortiz and these guys there. They are bad bloody Cubans, man.
I think he's intimidating. I don't think he's so much intimidating. What it is that the fact that he's going to pounce back at you, the fact that he's such a quick counter puncher. That's what makes him intimidating, I guess. Yeah.
Hey guys, let me go ahead and read the poll here because I put up this here. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder War. Is this one of the greatest heavyweight trilogies of all time? 63% said yes, 37% said no. So I know Rafi voted no. What about you, EJ?
No, but people need to put it in perspective, yeah? Most people didn't see the Thriller Manila. Most people didn't see the Riddick Bogue. Some people just being born. But in this generation, 100% like heavyweight division there. Now, if you put it in context with Floyd Patterson, Johansson, and all them guys there, all the old timers, no way. But you in this day and age, it's there. Yeah, it is. It goes down as one of the greatest trilogies in heavyweight boxing. 100%. Is it the greatest? No, it won't go over. It won't go over certain ones. But in terms of now, this is the one I would compare it through. Now, you guys can tell me: is it better than Pacquiao Marquez?
No,
No. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I think so. Well, Pacquiao done 4 actually. They done 4, right?
They fought 4 times.
They done 4. I think so. You know what I mean? I think so. Yeah. I do. In terms of the action, and I think it is. But because of the way Pacquiao is in the Hall of Famer, but you talking about Tyson Fury is a Hall of Fame. When it's all said and done and their career's over, then we might evaluate and look at it a bit differently. You know, and we see what Wilder does.
My thing is this. My thing is this. One, that was Tyson Fury coming off the couch kind of thing. That's one. 2, the second fight, both of them were primed and ready. So that's good. The third fight was highly entertaining. But we have to put.
Well, the first fight was entertaining too, wasn't it? Not?
It was good. They were all good fights. Right. This one, however, we have to factor in that it was 2 guys coming off a 20-month layoff.
Good stuff.
So you know we factor that in as well. So it wasn't both guys at their best.
Ali,
and some of them fights were like 2 years apart.
Yeah, that's here's the thing about that, Rafi. Yeah, hold on, EJ. But yeah, to Rafi though. But the point is that all trilogy fights, you know, usually the third fights or the fourth fights, by that matter, both guys are not going to be at their best. They're going to be pretty much, not saying out their prime, but at their peak. Like Holyfield and Bo, when they fought the third time, they were clearly past their prime, at their best when they fought the third time.
I didn't express it correctly. What I'm saying is both of these guys have been out of action for 20 months. So what I'm saying is they weren't primed. It's not like they were coming up for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? They fought 6 months prior. Yeah. So they weren't primed, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They've only lost one
match fit. There's both of them got cardio issues. Only match fit.
Listen, where we rank them, that's an individual thing. But me, I'm up there with them. I sit down and put a box set on and say, yo, what's this? Yeah, and they go, what? Watch this, right? And I'd put Pacquiao, Marquez, the first fight in. They'd be on it. Maybe not the other 2 because they're all points. 3 was a points. You think Marquez got robbed? You see what I'm saying? But you talking about Wilder? You talking about knockdowns? You talking about beatdowns?
Oh yeah.
You talking about when the guys? You talking about when a guy thinks he's done? Wilder, when he's done, and all of a sudden he's striking back. The man looked like he was done, bro. I thought, this fight's done. And then all of a sudden he came back. You know, yo, what? You know what I mean? Like he looked like he was done when Fury put him down. And that
looked like Fury was done too. You know, it looked like he was done in the 4th round.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was that, bro. That shit was amazing.
Would you say that the 20-month inactivity had an effect on both
Nah.
Luis Cardio?
No, not really, because they're not really, because they still fought how they've been fighting. You know, Wilder didn't change. That's the way he fights. He likes to just let you beat him on points and try to knock you out. Fury puts the punches together. Fury just picked up from the last fight. He did the same thing. He done with that combination, came with that hook with a straight right down the pipe. And when he got in, he just mauled Wilder. He more or less did the same thing.
Yeah, but it took a lot more hard work this time around for him, because he was
he got knocked out.
a lot of punch.
Yeah, because he got knocked down. Yeah, but Wilder was better. Wilder was better because he knocked them down.
He was a better Wilder.
Wilder was better. Yeah, Wilder was better. Yeah, it was a better Wilder, man. Wilder
well, let's be fair, though.
Wilder came out of the gate to the jab to the body, man. He came out, bro. He was throwing hard rights to the body, bro. Yeah. I was like, yeah, keep that. He went away from the game plan, right? Because you see the knockout, he jabbed him to the stomach. And Fury stepped in, then he threw the straight right, and that's when Fury delayed and fell on the floor. If he went back to jab him to the stomach, it would have been. But I reckon it doesn't matter what he did. I think Fury gonna beat him regardless. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing too is that Fury. I was gonna say though, it took a lot more work for him to get Wilder out of there. I don't care what all the fanatics of Fury fighters say. They know that man wasn't a tough war. He could have got knocked out. Let's not get it twisted. He could have got knocked out in the fourth. If there was more time in that round. If he got knocked down the third time, that fight would have been called. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is on that situation. But yeah, to my point though, man, great trilogy. I'm sorry to say that. It is. I'm not sorry. I'm be firm on that. It was a great trilogy. Is it one of the greatest of all time? No, but definitely a great trilogy. Hands down to both men. I know Wilder bad sportsmanship, but at the end of the day, you can't take away what he did. In fact, Deontay Wilder performed better on Tyson Fury than any other Tyson Fury's opponents. He performed better on Fury than anybody else, other than maybe Steve Cunningham. But I think Wilder did a better job on Fury than Cunningham. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. But listen, you guys can label it what you want. I got this like this. Anthony Joshua, two of the great of the last 10 years. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. And I got Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Take your pick.
Which one?
Them four fights.
Which fight?
Them four fights, amazing. Absolutely amazing. You gotta remember, you got casual people watching that and sitting back and you got MMA talking about they fight. Boxing is getting together, they're getting their feet together. Bob Arum and PVC are getting together. Things are getting together where they're going to make the best fights. We've got Terence Crawford versus Sean Porter. We've got Caleb Plant versus Canelo. We're getting things together, bro. That's what we need. Boxers had enough of just looking on the fences and seeing these MMA. When they see these YouTubers and all this shit, they realize they're going, if we don't do it, we're going to lose our sport. And I think we finally coming together. And Wilder and Fury has started that. Fury has captured. He is the number one heavyweight in the world, bar none. No one's even going to question that joint now no more. No one right now.
That's undisputed. That's irrefutable right now. He is the number one guy.
He's the number one guy.
He is the lineal champion for a reason. So
that proved it. That proved it right there. That one there, and also because if AJ beat Usyk, then we'd have an argument. But AJ didn't, So that's where we are right now.
Yeah, but hey, here's a comment by Black and Undisputed. He says that Wilder is just another overrated puncher. I don't agree with that. If you really did ask Tyson Fury that, because Tyson Fury would tell you, no, he isn't. You get in the ring with him, you tell me that he's overrated. Overrated.
Another thing as well, like Fury, this is what I say about it. I don't know if Fury's the same. All them knockdowns Fury took, bruv, like, we don't know the effect of Fury in the next fight with some of the other guys, because unlike Wilder, these guys are going to be more complete to finish Fury's ass off when he gets hit this time. You know what I mean? Yeah, and he can't do that bullshit. He won't be able to do that against Frank Sanchez. He won't do it against Usyk. He ain't gonna do that against them guys there. They don't. Anthony Joshua, he definitely ain't gonna do that shit to Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua beefs up, Anthony Joshua knows to fight inside. And I still Anthony Joshua will beat him. I know people don't, but right now maybe Fury beat him on that. If there was a fight yesterday and Anthony Joshua came with that stupid game plan, then but if Anthony Joshua is Anthony Joshua, I still think he would beat Tyson Fury. That's just my personal view.
Yeah, but Joshua's got to get himself. He's got to get himself mentally, man, because he's really got to get over that Andrew Ruiz loss. He hasn't gotten over that one yet, so he really got to get over that mentally.
Andrew Ruiz? What do you mean he beat Andrew Ruiz? What are you talking about?
Well, because look at his performances after that, man. I mean, you can also argue the play.
That's because the team has told him to be cagey, Dan. That's the trainers, Dan.
Well, that's true. That's true, but it also has a psychological effect on the fighter too. When a team tells you that, don't ever do that stupid shit again. That's probably what they told him.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, listen, but after watching, watching tonight's fight, Anthony Joshua realized, fuck that shit. I need more passion. You know, I need more passion. Stop being so unattached from emotion. What you saw yesterday was emotion, passion, and drive. What Andy Joshua lacked. If Andy Joshua had half of that emotion and drive, he would have got Usyk's ass out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Too passive.
Yeah.
It was too passive.
Like Wilder. Maybe he looked at what Wilder went through. He's like, dude,
Dan's right enough, Joshua. I know Dan's right enough, Joshua. I know. I see you've been hating. Tonight.
I don't hate, dude. I'm just telling you what I think.
Hard, brother. But listen, check this out. You've been hating hard, but check this out. Time will tell, and a wise man keeps a still tongue. Time will tell, my friend. Right. So I ain't even gonna talk. I'm not even gonna contradict you. All I'm saying is time will tell.
Well, let me tell you this though. I've been consistent because I didn't think Wilder would beat Fury in the rematch. You know, I was almost proven wrong, but I stuck to my guns on that one because I thought Fury was a better overall fighter. He has more tools in his box. Now, as far as Joshua's concerned, I have to ask you this, Ralphie. What can Joshua do to win the rematch against Usyk?
He can do the fundamentals, which you weren't doing last time. If you've been listening to my
what was the fundamentals?
If you listen,
what are the fundamentals?
I'll go through.
Come on, man.
Okay, I'll go through. I'll do it for you. I'll spell it out for you again. Okay, the basic fundamentals against the southpaw. Keep your lead leg on the outside. Joshua wasn't doing that consistently. Okay, another thing. Move. Another thing. 2. Move to your left. Joshua wasn't doing that consistently. 3. Left hook, right combination, right down the pipe. Joshua wasn't doing that. Joshua wasn't doing that hardly. The 3 fundamentals against the southpaw, and that's what he needs to correct. And I think having been in there with Usyk now, I think he knows what to correct, and I think he's good second time around.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But you do understand if you did see in that first fight, Joshua was moving to his left so as he was getting clipped. And when he did that in the 9th round, he got clipped with a hard left, and that would, it damaged his eye. So I'm not sure that's gonna work. But as far as the other adjustments that you mentioned, yeah, that's fair enough. But will Joshua have the endurance or durability to keep that up for 12 rounds? Because we're talking about a guy who's not Andy Ruiz here.
If you do the fundamentals, it makes it easier on your cardio because you feel more relaxed. So boom, yes.
In my opinion, Joshua shouldn't fight him. It was a bad matchup. Usyk will probably beat him in the rematch. I want to believe, that and this is what happened. The same thing with Wilder. I want to believe that the guy that I support was going to win. And as you see with Tyson Fury Wilder, I was on it. I don't give a shit. I'm supporting Wilder. I want Wilder to win. I want to believe. But when I saw my eyes and I looked at Fury, I said, this guy's bloody complete. Now, when I look at Usyk, he's complete. Now, he only did enough to show Anthony Joshua he could beat him. So if Anthony Joshua comes with another game plan, I believe he'll have something else for Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua should have never fought Usyk. He should have vacated the belt, let him fight Joe Joyce, and let them batter each other, and then pick off the winner. That's what he should have did. And but out of pride, you're going to fight him. I don't think Anthony Joshua can beat him or believes he could beat him because he gives him too much respect. He likes him. He respects him in the limit. You know what I mean? And it's hard to beat someone when you actually, I'm not saying you idolize him, but in a way, he kind of does, man, and that's bad, man. You can't, you know what I mean? I don't know how you beat someone like that you actually look up to, and that's what he does. And he just comes because, you know what I mean? The way he gives him respect, he can't even. It'd be forced Andy Joshua to actually dog him. He wanted because I saw them after in the change room where Usyk came and gave Andy Joshua back his belts, and he goes, "Oh, thanks very much." I'm like, where's the energy? I don't want your blasted belts. Don't take them. I'll get them back when you know what I mean? Why do you say, yo, I'll get them back when I get you in the rematch? And he goes, oh, thanks very much. I said, yo, long man. So that was after the fight. So he hasn't got the mindset or the mentality to beat Usyk. I want him to believe it. But after seeing this sort of thing, rematches usually go the same way. That's it. In boxing history, that's how it was. Rarely do they change over. When someone beats someone, and the rematch comes, it's hard to beat. It's hard to change. You have to change who you are. And I just try to do that. And it was worse. Let's say he tries to be the other side, he might get knocked out early because he might miss and make mistakes, and Usyk's going to capitalize. So Andy Joshua, I think he should just leave that fight alone now. But he can't because this money. I agree. He's gonna get destroyed though. I don't think he's gonna win that fight.
I don't think so either. And let me just say this. I just think, like, again, this is not an Andrew Ruiz situation where we got a guy who's undisciplined, who's going to eat up, pizzas and burgers during training camp. Alexander Usyk is not that type of fighter. This is a guy who's an all-around athlete, who's constantly training, he's constantly in shape. This guy's been wanting this fight with Joshua for years. In fact, going back to his comments after the fight, they asked him, what did you think about Joshua in this performance? He's like, I thought it was easier than I thought. I didn't expect him to try to outbox me. I thought, in other words, expecting the guy to try to maul him. That's what he was prepared for. So, we're all critiquing what Joshua should prove, which is the right thing to do. That's fine. But the question is, what can Usyk do? What can he do to improve? Because he said that he did last night's best performance. What can he do to improve his performance against Joshua? Anybody want to take a stab at that one?
No, I think that was the perfect storm right there. I think that might be the apex. That might be the apex performance.
Yeah. Fair enough. But Big Boys to kind of disagree with one of your adjustment analysis. And Rafi, he says that Joshua's feet aren't quicker than Usyk, which is true. It is not. So he can't get his foot on the outside to start with Usyk.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
There you go. So what does he do? What does he do to counter that? There's a counter for everything, right?
Right.
So there's a yin to the yang to everything. So then it's up to him to find a counter for that. He's gonna have to use some smarts. There's gonna be a counter for that. Right. I don't know what it is.
Well, but
there you go.
But Big Boy's saying if he does what you suggest he do as far as getting his foot on the outside of Usyk, he's going to get countered with the right hook. So by Usyk. So, like I said, though, to Big Boy's point, though, Usyk has all the answers for him, just like Fury has all the answers for Wilder. So,
have we seen? That's a bit presumptuous without seeing the rematch. That's a bit presumptuous without seeing the rematch.
Okay, wait, hold up. But you said that. Wait, hold on. Let's back up here. You said that Wilder had no answers for Fury before the rematches. So how's this any different?
Wilder had no answers because I'm confident. I was confident in that, and it came to pass. It came to pass. What I'm saying is
Joshua.
We have a rematch here. We have a rematch here. And so I'm not going to write off Joshua before the rematch.
Fair enough. You don't have to. That's fine, though. But the thing is that he clearly got. Fair enough. But he clearly got dominated from the first round to the end. Yes, I gave Joshua only 3 rounds of that fight. If you want to stretch it out to 4, so be it. But he got dominated and nearly got stopped at the end of the round. I mean, at the end of the fight on his feet. So he literally had no answers for Usyk's arsenal at all. None. So I don't.
He won 4 rounds.
He did.
How could he have no answers?
He won 3 rounds. Well, yeah, I wanted to judge the scorecard. I'll accept that. Yeah, okay, he won those 4th rounds, but was those easy? Were there dominating rounds? Wait, hold on. Were there dominating rounds or nip and tuck rounds?
He won 4 rounds, yeah? He won 4 rounds, and on the statistics, he threw and landed more punch than many people had realized. Yeah?
Nah. So, I think that, what, though? Let me just say this.
Hold on. Just let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Just let me finish what I'm saying. Okay, so if he makes the adjustment, some adjustments, some of the recommended adjustments, then I think it would be ridiculous to say that he can't beat Usyk. It would be foolish to say he can't beat Usyk. If he makes some adjustments, some of the recommended adjustments. It would be foolish to say he can't beat Usyk. That's my position.
Okay, fair enough. But look, you would have a great argument if this was a close fight and Usyk got edged out in the scorecards. I could see that argument there. But like I said, though, the guy got dominated. It almost got stopped at the end of the fight.
He got dominated by Andy Ruiz, and he came back and won. What's your point?
Well, hold on. The difference between that fight and Andy Ruiz fight is that you could arguably say that Joshua won the first 2 rounds because he was landing his power shots early, and he knocked him down in that round, and then he got caught by being reckless, and then he couldn't recover after that. And Andy Ruiz is a slow-footed guy. He doesn't have the best defense in the world. Yes, he's got fast hands. He's got durability, but there's ways to beat him. Joseph Parker proved that in their fight. Stay out on the outside against him. Box him. Don't stand and engage with him in close quarters. That's how you beat Andrew Ruiz. Usyk, there's no blueprint on how to beat him. The only thing you could do is try to rough him up. Wait. The only thing you could do is rough him up, and that's it. But other than that, Joshua doesn't have the durability or endurance to keep that pace up in 12 rounds to try to do that to a guy like Usyk. Because that's Usyk's greatest strength is to zap your user's greatest weaknesses against you. It's a
Okay,
bad
so you
matchup for
prepared-
AJ. I'm sorry to say that, man. It's a bad matchup.
So you prepared to go on record and say that Joshua cannot beat Usyk in the rematch. Is that correct?
I just don't see it. But does he have a puncher's chance? Absolutely, because this is the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
He can't beat him in the rematch. He can't. No.
You can't do it. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, we got cool. We got down the man saying Joshua cannot win in the rematch. We got EJ Boxing saying just saying Joshua cannot win in the rematch. And we got Rafi saying we can. So there we go. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, Eddie Hearn was joking at the end of the fight. Hey, look, we wanted to vacate the belt, but we want, AJ's a fighting man. So they were going to do it because look, Eddie Hearn knew. He knew what the fight that Joshua was getting into. He didn't want this fight for Joshua. He knew it. He didn't want this fight for him.
Listen, these are the things that define greatness. If Joshua can come back and pull off that win, those are the things that define greatness.
No one's gonna care.
And I'm happy to watch.
No one's gonna care. You know why? No one's gonna care because no one even knows who Usyk is. That's why he shouldn't have fought him. Yeah. That's why he fought him. And even now, no one even knows who Usyk is. Wilder and Fury and AJ are the biggest names in boxing. You know what I mean? They should have fought each other. Usyk, no one cares what that guy does. He's just big in the Ukraine. Ukraine is not the English-speaking the world. No one cares what Usyk does, man. You know what I mean? And all they see is AJ loses this little guy. They go, we see him lose to a fat guy. We see him lose to a little guy. And people can't understand why.
Yeah, he got hurt by these guys too. Both of them. He did. I mean, look, man. Look. I'm just telling you. Well, okay, we'll get back to Wilder in a second. Yeah, let's get back to Wilder. But let me just say this though, Rafi. I picked Joshua to. I just picked Joshua. I picked Joshua to beat Usyk. Let's not get it twisted. I picked him before the fight was announced. I picked him to beat him because I thought Joshua would be too much for him as far as his size and his strength and his long reach and his power. I thought that would be the case. I thought that would be the telling factor. But as I said, do not write Usyk off because Usyk has fought taller men like Joshua. He's done this for many years. Joe Joyce, for example. Anybody take a look at that World Series of Boxing fight? Look how he dismantled Joe Joyce, a big, tall man.
Dare to be great, my friend.
Exactly. Usyk is used to this. He's been doing this for many, many years. And that's why I tell people don't write this guy off because he's a cruiserweight. Don't do it. It's dangerous. And look what he did. So I'm just saying though, that matchup is totally like I said though, it's totally bad. But let's move on to
a possibility. What happened in that fight was always a possibility. That didn't surprise nobody.
Oh, yes, it did. A lot of people thought that Joshua was going to spark him out. A lot of people thought Joshua was going to spark him out. And look what happened. A lot of people were surprised.
What happened in that fight was always a possibility. Always.
Okay. I'm not sure if you said that before, Rafi, but I have to go back and check.
No, I said,
as I recall,
I said Joshua was going to spark him out in the 9th round.
There you go.
Didn't happen. But it ain't no surprise what happened. It ain't no surprise.
Well, didn't you say that Usyk had no chance?
I never said Usyk had no chance. I said Joshua's gonna spark him in the 9th. I never said Usyk has no chance. That's ridiculous.
Well, I'm not sure about that because I hate to bring the name up because you don't like the guy, Hamed. You and him got to arguing about this, and you saying Usyk has no chance because he's a cruiserweight. He hasn't proved anything at heavyweight.
If I said it, then I said it. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember saying it. But hey, if I said it, then I said it. That's cool in the gang. I was wrong. What can I do?
All right.
There you go.
Fair enough. Well, okay, Percy, he's probably with you on this one, Rafi. I think he says that. I think what's going on is a lot of people are overrating Usyk's performance because it was unexpected. Look, it was unexpected by the bookies' cards, but I watched Usyk for years. I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised at all what he did. I was not surprised because this man has been doing this shit for years. I watched his amateur career. I watched him in the World Series of Boxing. I watched him, being in the Olympics. I watched him obviously in his the beginning of his pro career. So I wasn't surprised at what he was able to do. So that's why I told people, do not write him off. That is a dangerous thing to do. You don't know what this man's capable of. And the people who are writing him off, let's be honest, they weren't watching Usyk for a long time. They start watching him when he fought Tony Bellew, pretty much. Majority of the people who are, rooting for AJ. But it is what it is. Let's go back to Wilder real quickly, guys.
Let's talk about Wilder, bro. This is about Wilder.
Yeah, let's go back to Wilder.
Let's
talk about Wilder. Let's stay on this one real quickly. Fury was asked this question. I brought this to EJ's attention. I'm gonna bring this to you as well. At the post fight press conference, Fury was asked this question about Dillian White and other contenders. Tyson Fury says, "No, I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm going to go home and relax. I'm going to spend time with my family, take some 6-7 months off." Do you think that Tyson Fury pretty much knew that fight took something out of him, that he's like, oh shit, this is going to get much tougher than this than Wilder? Do you think that Tyson Fury is not going to go near Dillian White if should Dillian White get past his get past Otto Wally and WC mandates to fight?
Well, it's a very simple equation. Dillian White's going to be the mandatory. If he beats Otto Wallin, then Fury is going to be, according to the WBC, that's going to be Fury's next fight. I personally don't think Fury's looking forward to meeting Dillian White in the ring.
Yeah,
that's going to be a hell of a tough fight. It's going to be a hell of a tough fight, and I don't think Fury's looking forward to it. If Fury starts with his shenanigans, then he'll simply have to be stripped by the WBC.
I agree. I agree with you.
Let me tell you about that. And let me tell you about the being stripped and all that shit. Fury. See, Joshua, unlike Fury don't give a shit. Joshua cares about all that belts and trying to do that and trying to have a certain thing, make people believe that he wants to be undisputed and all that stuff. Fury don't give a shit. Vacate the belts. I'm still the linear champion. He can do what he wants. Straight up.
Yep.
And
that's what he's going to do. I agree.
And you know what? I won't criticize him. You know why? Because he gave us what he wanted. He gave us a hard fight. I don't care about the belts. I want to see the fights. The great fights and that. The belts are really a side trinket to some of the epic fights. And the Fury vacates the belt so we can make a great fight, then so be it. He let Dillian fight whoever for the vacant belt, and he goes on. And that's what Joshua should have did. And Eddie Hearn should have did that. And you should learn your lesson. Lennox Lewis did that. He became undisputed. He gave up his belt to John Ruiz and let John Ruiz, Evander Holyfield, fight for that belt. He gave up his belt to Chris Bird, the IBF belt, he kept the WBC, and no one gave a damn. And that's what you do. Joshua should have did that. You see, you can't live up to some of the stuff you say. You know what I mean? Stay humble. You can't be humble when you're rich. You know what I mean? It's all right when you're poor, but when you're rich, it's hard to do. So Joshua's got caught up in being that guy, and also Wilder being a king. I'm a king. You know what I mean? I'm this and that. You know, you put a gimmick on yourself. You label yourself. You try to be that guy. You know, Wilder said, "I want to go out my shield." Okay, how about that now? Now, I mean, you gone out your shield. Now you went to hospital. Let's see. Now you're all broken up. People are gonna come picking your part, and also, let's see if his woman stays with him and people around him stay with him. Because who wants to be around a loser? No one wants to be around a loser. Like when you're talking now, everyone's like, "You're a bum, man." That's how you get knocked out. That's how people are, man. That's how
he's a rich loser. He's a rich loser. A woman.
But in the boxing world, people saw you. Mike Tyson was rich when he got knocked out by Lennox Lewis, but people remember seeing you getting sprayed out. There's images of you getting clowned all over the internet, bro. So what I'm saying to you is this: stop letting the belt dictate. Stop you from having great fights, yeah. So if Fury vacates the belt, I'm not criticizing him. I'll tell you right now, as long as he goes and fights good quality fighters, he can call himself the linear champion and fight whoever. And the criticism,
he still got the Ring Magazine belt too. So take that into account.
Yeah,
so he's got that in the linear.
Yeah, he ain't gonna let none of them. And that's where he stands alone and really and truly like old champions. You're not going to tell me who I can and can't fight. I'm going to fight who I think is worthy of a challenge towards me, and that's what I'm going to do. And Fury going to look for an easy one. That's why he didn't want to fight Wilder. He let Wilder go to court. I don't want to fight that guy because he knows how dangerous that guy is, and that guy was dangerous, and he realized that. That's why he don't want to talk about boxing. Dan, he was a rake. He was a brick.
He was always going to be fighting Wilder. He was always going to be fighting Wilder. That was a setup by by Bob Arum to string the thing out until they could get crowds back. So this was just an elaborate plan, waiting for the crowds, and then the arbitrators returned and said we got to.
Well, part of me believes that. Yeah, part of me believes that. Hey, Shiz Biz is not letting up on Wilder. He said, why was Wilder drinking out of a suspected water bottle? I don't know. I mean, you think it has stimulants in it? Because if it did, that didn't help his endurance. So I don't think there was no stimulants in that water. So
that fight is the fight we saw is the fight they wanted. They wanted Wilder again. And the arbitration thing, that was just an elaborate hoax. It was a play, and they were actors. Fury, Arum were actors in the game. I don't know if Wilder was in on it, but Fury and Arum. Well, Arum was the architect. Fury was the puppet, and they got exactly what they wanted. As soon as the arbitrator came out, 24 hours later, 48 hours later, they were announcing the date, the venue. There was going to be. They told you who was going to be on the hot dog stand. You know, it was all there, ready, waiting.
So the plan was to mess up AJ and Eddie Hearn. That's what you're saying, yeah?
The plan was to use AJ and Eddie Hearn, and then pretend as if they were making that fight for Undisputed. Whilst in the meantime, they said no. They've got Bob Arum has got the ESPN deal to fulfill, contract to fulfill. Yeah, we're gonna go this way. It's better for us. So
you know what? And but the outcome really was
is to F up Eddie. Pawns in the game. Pawns in the game.
The outcome really was to mess up Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua because the deadline for the mandatory for Usyk came. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was before, they could have paid off Usyk or vacated the belt. That's what Eddie Hearn. I knew this already, and I said this. I saw Usyk come in, and I said vacate them. Eddie done his best job of devaluing Usyk, like he did to Ortiz, put him in some fights to make him look bad. That's what he did. All these guys, these AJ protectors, and it was at that point. It was like, well, boy, we fight this guy. It's a hard fight. Eddie Hearn said he was in his mind. He's thinking we should vacate. Josh goes, no, let's fight him. And goes, you sure? He goes, yeah, we fight him. But Eddie knew in his heart, he goes, no, you should have vacated the belt. But if you vacate the belt, then it's like, what I thought you said you want to be undisputed. So he didn't want to get the criticism. And that's what I'm trying to say. What Fury doesn't care about it. So the plan, what Rafi's saying, in my opinion, was really to mess up Eddie Hearn and to make sure that by the time that court thing went down, now the WBO was ordering that you had to fight him. You know what I'm trying to say? And then it was a thing because they could have paid off Usyk a couple of mil. Because Lennox Lewis, when he was trying to fight Tyson, Don King used to pay off Lennox Lewis a couple of times, a couple of mil. And Lennox said, yeah, sure, I'll take that. Yeah, if you don't want me to fight, and that's what Lennox Lewis. That's why Lennox Lewis didn't fight for the title for so long because he was getting paid off with step-aside money, and Usyk would have took the money, right? And that's what you do to stay on top. People don't know this is obviously behind closed doors. But Eddie Hearn and AJ is not too smart, you know what I mean, in terms of that he wants to fight the best. But end of the day, that star matchup is a horrible star matchup for you, man. Why you think Lennox Lewis never fought no southpaws? Why he was heavyweight champion? He avoided them like the plague, man. He said, I ain't fighting none. He said he ain't fighting none. He never fought not one. Michael Mora, he never fought thing. But no one's going to criticize Lennox Lewis because he didn't fight Michael Mora because he fought so many other guys.
Bird, Corey Sanders. He didn't fight none.
None. Yeah, no one. And that's what I said. If AJ vacated the belt, I wouldn't have cared. Like, honestly, I wouldn't have cared. You think all the fans in England would have cared that he gave up one belt? So what? They would have said, so what? And that's what I'm trying to say. People get caught up with the mystique about undisputed, when really and truly, it's about making the best fights possible for the fans, as you've seen, you know. And I think the Grandmaster plan, Eddie, and the thing is, Frank Warren, Eddie, and Bob Arum, they would have rinsed him and they said, you don't want undisputed. Look how you vacated the belt. And that's what Eddie Hearn didn't want to deal with. Because you talk so much about undisputed. We want to be. You want undisputed. Yeah. At the Wilder fight, you could have got it done. You could have gave Wilder the rematch clause. You didn't have to give him 50-50, whatever. Wilder even came down to 40-60. They didn't want to do it. The undisputed could have done
well,
a long time ago.
What Wilder wanted, which was fair, and I got a lot of flack for saying this because all Wilder wanted is, okay, give me the rematch clause. I'll take the lower split. Should I beat him? Yeah. I take the higher split. That's the norm. And then people criticize Wilder for that. Like, what? That's the norm. Okay. Well, guess what? When Wilder lost to Fury the second time, who took the lower split? Deontay Wilder did. Yeah, that's a common practice in rematch clauses in fights. Should I beat your guy? I get the higher split at the rematch. But go ahead.
But listen to this. We ain't got shit now, have we? We ain't got no bloody AJ. We ain't got no bloody Wilder. How about them apples right now? So where we sitting now? We're sitting. In fact, we're sitting in front of harder opponents. In fact, the opponents. Them two, now we've got even harder. These two are about to get knocked off, and now you got even harder guys coming through. I mean, and harder guys coming through with less money on the table. I think Fury's the draw now. I think Fury's a draw now. Come back to the UK. I think he can sell out a stadium. I think he was promoted properly in England. He can do a stadium like AJ. Before I wouldn't fathom that, but after that performance, if he come back to England and Frank Warren does a proper job, they can sell out Wembley. They can sell out Wembley Stadium, and then now you're on parity with Anthony Joshua because you're the only world champion in England right now. Anthony Joshua's not.
He's undefeated. You know I mean? Yeah, he's undefeated. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and another thing too is that I was going to say though is that both Joshua and Wilder's career. I mean, both these guys took a lot of damages in their recent previous fights, man.
Yeah,
And both of them are not the same fighters like they were when they were undefeated. Both of them.
No.
So now it's like, at this point, I still want to see the fight, but it doesn't have that much value like it was when they were both champions. They should have fought when they, Wilder and AJ.
That's done,
if they fought, man,
it's done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though.
I did care. It's done. No, I did. Me and Dan did. It's done though. It's done.
I don't care. He was there talked about.
You'd rather see Usyk and AJ. You'd rather see Usyk and AJ. That's what you're saying, yeah?
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's why you don't care. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? AJ could have beat Wilder. AJ could have beat Wilder.
Who cares anymore?
No, that's what I'm saying. What I do, I care that fight. Eddie Hearn messed. You see Bob Arum and them guys there. They're gonna give. They're gonna be smart because they've been in the game longer than Eddie Hearn. They're gonna make sure Fury fights the opponents that they feel he's gonna win, and make sure they keep that money, and they're gonna build Fury off this thing. Where AJ's value is trying to get back up there against a bloody opponent that he should have never be fighting. He should never be in the ring with a Usyk. It don't make no sense. You know, he's just a hard guy to fight. Even if you beat him, what does anyone even care? It's just one of them ones that, like, you know, who's this guy? Like, what's he done? He don't sell no stadiums. What numbers has he done? You see, this is what I'm saying when Eddie Hearn talks about Wilder, but what the bloody head has Usyk done? What stadium? The only thing he brings is the undisputed cruiserweight and in the World Boxing Series that really and truly that most people didn't see in AJ's. They didn't see that. Now, the majority of fans saw AJ beat Vladimir Klitschko in a massive HBO combined with Sky Sports, RTL, German channel. Everyone around the world saw AJ done that. That's what made AJ a megastar. Usyk is not on that level for that. Fury, Wilder is on a level. So when you bring Usyk, one minute, Rafi, I'm still talking. When you bring Usyk into the equation, and you're talking about the mathematics and the numbers, it doesn't tally up. The man doesn't deserve anything. But he's just a hard fight, and there's no worth in that guy, bro. Nothing. You know what I mean? Now, if AJ loses to this guy, he devalues his stock, he loses his belts, and he's out of the picture, and it's horrible. It's sad. It's very sad.
Is Wilder even going to continue fighting after?
No. I think Wilder's done, Rafi. I think Wilder's done.
Yeah, you know what? BG London think he's finished. I mean, you know what? It's pretty hard to say. I mean, I'll say one thing. I think we won't see Wilder in the ring for another year because this is going to take a long time for him to recover.
No, he broke his hand. Malik said he broke his hand. You see the interview on
that's what I mean though. If he chooses to fight again, it won't be till another year and a half or so. But at this point, this fight took a lot, whatever's left in his career. I'm just being honest. It took a lot out of him. I mean, who knows? This heavyweight division, we said that about Vander Holyfield many years ago when he got wiped out by Riddick Bowe in their third fight. We thought that was it for Vander. He was done. He was finished. So
what's he got to prove? Okay, if you're Wilder, what are you got to prove? You know, you made excuses about your loss. What's your goal? You ain't getting your belt back. You're not beating that guy. So where do you go? What you tell me? What any road he does?
If you're Wilder, you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not gonna beat Fury.
Yeah,
I'll beat Fury. I'm probably not gonna beat Usyk. Not gonna beat Usyk. And as sure as hell, I'm not gonna beat Anthony Joshua. So what the hell is there out there?
I don't think he thinks that. I think Wilder will go in there, have a shot at Usyk. I don't think Wilder thinks that. I think Wilder will go for Usyk because Usyk don't hit that hard.
I think he'll go for AJ too. I think that's a more winnable fight for him.
And I think he goes for. I think if I'm Wilder, I'm out the picture. And I'm in there, and now I'm calling for Dillian because Dillian's like, what? You want me? When I was there, you didn't want. Dillian's gonna make him win.
Dillian's style is gonna pay for Wilder. I mean, Dillian is 6'4". He's got what's his reach? 78, and Wilder's got an 83-inch reach, and he's 6'7". Yeah, that's Wilder's fight right there for him to win. Easier fight for him. I'm not saying it's gonna be an easy fight, but that's more of a tailor-made fight for him to win. Usyk, I'm not sure about that one.
Dillian's not beating Otto Wallin, bro. Stop beating. Hey, what's up, Fight? Fight Doctor's in the chat. You know,
shout out to Fight Doctor in the chat.
Shout out to Fight Doctor.
Yeah, fight. Yeah, there's a fight. I don't think. I'm calling it right now. I don't think Dillian's beating Otto Wallin, man. I think that's a hard. That guy's busy, man. The guy's busy, long, fast. He you know, and he's coming off of the confidence. The only thing Dillian can do to him is what I see Dillian do to Joseph Parker, and I see him do to Lucas Brown, is intimidate him in the press conference. I talked to Dylan, one of Dylan's trainers. I talked to Harold Shadow Knight, and it says as long as Dylan comes in the press conference with the black murder gloves and the big balls running like he's gonna murder someone, and talks about even if you beat me, I'm gonna beat you outside the arena. If he gets in Otto Williams' head like that, that's how he does. Dillian's very good at psychologically getting in your head. So that's the only way, because Otto Williams is make no mistake about it. This guy's up. This is a very, very hard fight for Dillian, and a winner fight, and he can beat Dillian. He's a southpaw as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting matchup. That fight's going to be what, in 3 weeks, I believe, next month. Am I correct?
The 30th. Yeah, the 30th.
The 30th. Also, it's in 20 days. Okay. I'm definitely gonna look forward to that one, man. I mean, Dillian could possibly lose that fight. I mean, I'm still gonna favor him to win it, but don't be surprised if Otto Wallen pulls off the win. Now, if he wins, here's the thing though, because the debate is, will he get the mandatory shot? I don't think so. He'll move up in the rankings, but he won't get a mandatory shot.
Yes, he will.
No. I've read that. I've read that what happens is that if Dillian White wins, then he becomes mandatory. So
right, yeah. So if Otto Wallen wins, he doesn't become the mandatory. He just moves up in the rankings. That's it.
Why are you fighting for that? Dillian shouldn't fight him then. Why is Dillian fighting to keep busy, innit? He's trying to fight another guy to keep busy. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then the last time he did that, he got back. It backfired on him.
Yeah, why are you fighting him for? That's
now you're criticizing a man for following the warrior code and just playing whoever's in front of him.
As you seen. It's full of shit. Wilder's not no king, and AJ's not humble. You know what I mean? They're full of shit, all of them. They should be like Fury. Just tell the truth. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do what I feel. I'm free. I'm bound. Unchanged. Them guys are trying to follow someone and make us believe inside. They're not. Eddie Hearn told you he was going to vacate the belt. We didn't care, but that means that you all the time you talk undisputed. We want AJ wants undisputed, but then you come out and say we should have vacated the belt. I told AJ we should have did it. So then they're not about what they say. None of them are. And the code for Dillian is get that money. That's what it cares about. And fight.
Get that money code. I like that.
Yeah, get that money. That's what he's on. Fight Otto Williams is another fight in 02. On the zone, because it's not on Sky. I believe it's on Sky. First fight in 02, putting his fighters on because Yusuf Sukumari and some of his fighters that Dillian actually managed is going to be the cost. So Dillian controls the card. He's going to get paid that way. And he's fighting Otto Wallen, who's not a non-puncher, but very busy and very thin. But Dillian's got the key, though. He's got a wicked left hook. And that's what you need for southpaws. You know what I mean? So, we'll see how that works out. But it's a hard fight. I'm happy it's happening.
Shizbiz made an interesting point here. Tyson Fury may more likely become a franchise champion before fighting Dillian White. That's a possibility.
Franchise champion. Oh my god, that's dead, man.
That could happen.
They're gonna do him like Devin Haney. They're gonna do him like Devin Haney. Oh my gosh. Well, they're gonna get these Dillian.
So which means,
gosh, man.
Dillian win, he'll have to fight another high-ranked opponent for the vacant title. So
like Devin Haney, a worthless belt. I'd throw that belt in the bin. I'll go after another ranking, man. Dillian could see the dream for Dillian. Dillian got told by Eddie Hearn, this is what you need to do. Beat Deontay Wilder, and then we can come back with AJ and make them up. But that's not happening. So Dillian needs to go for self. Stop. Leave the WBC alone, bro. Go and fight.
Yeah.
The WBA Travis, whatever his name is, that Brian, whatever his name, that big fat tub of lard.
Yeah.
Trevor Bryan, that big tub of lard. Go, and then you become a champion. And and Dillian's. And let me tell you about this, right? Dillian's fans won't care how he became it. As long as he beat a champion, they don't care. Yeah, they'll recognize something, but the fans don't care about so much all these ticking points that we care. They don't really care. As you've seen, all they want to see, they don't care about them belts. They just want to see two guys taking shots at each other, and they go home and say, that was a wicked fight. When's the next one? That's what they care about.
BG London makes a good point. He says, I will ride with Wilder, but he's at the Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads.
What's that?
Yeah, he's at the crossroads stage. I agree with that. I mean, what he mean by that is that he's going to probably take on not saying low level fights, kind of like mid-tier, so semi mid-tier level, like a Charles Martin or hell, even an Adam Konaki type of fight. Those type of, or Andy Ruiz, those type of fights. He'll probably be taking those for 3.
Good fights.
What's up?
Very good fight. All of them are good fights.
They're very good fights. Yeah, but those are more winnable fights for Wilder. So those guys don't have the reach or the height on him, or the strength, obviously. So those definitely are very easier fights. Not easier, but they're good fights. But those are more winnable fights for him. So he'll probably be doing that for a whole year or so before he decide to go back for a title. Go back for a title, back in the title picture. But we shall see how this plays out, gentlemen. We shall see.
We shall see.
Hey, let me. I got the rankings right now. Yeah, so I just got the Ring Magazine rankings. So what Deontay Wilder, because Fury's resting for a while. What Deontay Wilder should do? So let's have a look at the heavyweight picture, and this is who he needs to knock off so he can get a title shot at one of the other champions. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, Dillian needs to do this as well. Just vacate the stop ball. If they're gonna do that franchise bullshit, Dillian needs to vacate that stuff. Dillian needs to knock off. Actually, the top three are Usyk, AJ, and stuff. Well, the winner's AJ. So Dillian, he needs to go against someone like Ruiz, man, because Ruiz was just he was the last undisputed. He was the unified champion. So if I was Deontay Wilder, I'd knock off Andy Ruiz, and I think that would keep you in good stead because he only lost to Joshua. He was undisputed. He lost one fight to Joshua, and he was a former unified champion. So I think if you're where you are, I think if you beat someone like Andy Ruiz, I think that will put you back back where you need to be in a contendership, in my opinion. Yeah. What do you guys think?
That's a good point. I think Wilder fights Andy Ruiz and beats him. He definitely put him back into contention. So that's what I see him doing. Or this one. I got one more. Or he goes and fight Joe Joyce. Who's the WBO number one?
Who? Wilder?
Wilder.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I think you know what, Joe Joyce is too slow, man. I mean, he's got the chin, but can he take those power shots from Wilder that for 12 rounds like that? I mean, it's possible, but he's too slow, man. He can't cut off the ring. He's not as quick as Fury.
With Joe Joyce's constant jab in his face, Deontay Wilder's gonna overcome that. Joe Joyce's jab constantly in his face and coming over with right hands.
Well, Joe Joyce's jab is not that quick though. It's a good jab, but it's not a quick jab. But look, dude, his jab is not as quick as Fury's. I'm sorry, it's not. So Deontay may be able to see that jab coming.
Constant. It's like rain. It just keeps on coming. It's like rain.
Yeah, it keeps coming, but it's not the quickest jab. That's what I'm saying though. Deontay will be able to see that. He couldn't see Fury's jabs because they're coming in different angles. That's the difference between the two.
Big Boy's Boxing's here.
Yeah, what's up, big boy?
Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on, man? Give us your critique on how, about the discussion so far.
Yes, it's pretty to and fro, I think for the next couple of weeks, personally, I'm going to be pulling up anybody who's saying Wilder's a bum or Wilder's overrated and all this sort of... It's crap, man. I mean, these two dudes put on a hell of a performance for us, entertaining as hell. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest, most... finesse boxing performance from either guy, but man, was it entertaining.
Yeah.
Totally entertaining.
These guys need massive respect. I'm glad it's over at the same time so we can move on. And the heavyweight division can sort itself out, hopefully, before anybody retires. But you were just talking about possibly Joe Joyce as an opponent for Wilder. I personally don't think that's a good idea for Wilder. I think Joyce beats him, but I think Wilder, he beats the living crap out of Joyce for the first 4 rounds, no problem. But once it gets to about 5-6 rounds, especially if Deontay's at 238 pounds, I think that's going to be a hell of a problem later in the fight for Wilder.
I think Wilder sleeps in, bro. I honestly, and you see the thing is, us lot, these are the guys he needs to fight, either Ruiz or Joe Joyce to get himself back. I think for boxing, bro, we don't, if we can get that fight, bro, I don't care who wins. It's a great fight for boxing. At this point, we need to get past the stage of trying to be accountants and trying to be promoters and saying we want the best fights. If Wilder wants to come back and he wants to come back, that's a fight that he could win. It's a fight he could lose, and I think that's where you need to be at. If you just lost your championship, that's my opinion. If you want to get there, you don't want to get anyone else. You got fight lower, but you could lose. So, but against Joe Joyce, you got a chance. And the thing is, with Joe Joyce, if Joe Joyce wins, his profile goes up, and people will demand that he should get his title shot. So, if I was Wilder, if I'm looking to plot, this is what I'm looking to do. Either Ruiz, which is easy, that's PBC side, which is a hard fight because Ruiz I'd favor both Joe Joyce and Ruiz to beat him, but I'd keep Wilder could win the fight. He could, because he can bang. And you see Ruiz go down. We see Joe Joyce been stunned by Daniel Dubois. So these fights are good fights for the fans.
I think if Wilder comes back, he's going to be looking at guys like what's the guy?
Robert Elenius, maybe.
That's the guy I'm thinking of.
He sparred him. I think he should go against Charles Martin.
Elenius, I see him go up against guys like Robert Elenius, Kawanaki, Kawanaski. I think them level. I don't see. I think that's the level he'd come back. If he does come back, and I'm not sure.
No, that'd be good for him. That would give him some confidence to get back into.
It's not bad. No, you guys are none. There's no padding in boxing. There's none. There isn't, because them guys there. He's supposed to win, and if he loses, he's good. That's what I'm trying to say to you. The fight that can get your juices. No one wants to see them whack ass fights you're talking about.
Anybody wants to see.
I don't want to see no massive. He's old. His body's breaking up.
Let Rafi finish. Let Rafi finish. Go ahead, Rafi.
If I'm saying if he comes back, and I'm not sure he does, because I think he's done what he wanted to. Well, I'm not sure he comes back anyway. But if he does come back, then that's the level of guys that I anticipate him coming back against. People who can give him confidence. Coming back, that's all. And I don't. To be honest with you, I'm not convinced that he comes back. I think he's out for a year. I think he takes a year out because he wants to heal up and recuperate and decompress. And then after the year, I think is when he makes his decision. That's just my.
I tell you what, Rafi. Yeah, when Wilder was a champion, there's one thing about Wilder. He was active, man. That's why I wanted him to win, right? But he's lost in fair play to Fury. But he was a very active champion, and now he hasn't got the belt. He can negotiate with the fight. He brings money. Let's get it right. I know he's not bringing in the more money, but he's for the American audience. If Wilder's fighting,
he's still a draw.
He's a draw. So what I'm trying to say to you is that if Wilder calls you out, because he's the draw. Remember again, it's not like he has to go to you, because them other guys I'm talking about are not a bigger draw than Wilder. Ruiz is not a bigger draw than Wilder. They're not. So when he goes to you and says, "I want to fight you because you have the place in," this is a big fight to him to come back. That's what you do. You don't go fight them other guys. They're bums. They're not bums, but they're not the fights that are gonna get anyone up, and it's gonna excite. Wilder is about excitement, great fights, and that's what he should do if he wants to come back. And you're right. And I don't know if he's gonna come back. You're right. I don't know if he's gonna come back.
Wilder's not been known to fight consensus top 10 guys.
Why did he fight Fury then? Why did he fight Fury then?
He's not been known for that. Yeah.
Why did he fight Fury then? Why did he fight Fury then?
No overwhelming desire on his
part. I don't understand. He wanted to fight AJ. He wanted to fight Povetkin, and he wanted to fight. And no. It's not speculating. He went to Russia. He went to Russia to fight Povetkin, and Povetkin popped drugs. Ortiz was another top contender. So was Brazil. So what I'm trying to say to you is that I don't know where you're getting at. Wilder fights Fury. He gave Fury a shot. Fury was a top guy. This is the last unified champion. So I don't know where you're getting at. Wilder wants to fight the very best. If Wilder's coming back, he's gonna fight a top tier. A level guy. That's what he's gonna do to get a shot.
No way, no how. No way, no how. I don't see that. And secondly, there's this thought that written here, Tony Yeo. Helenius was Wilder's sparring partner. I don't see Wilder versus Helenius. However, the counter to that is that he sparred his friend in Malik Scott. So he wouldn't have no problem fighting Helenius.
That was whack. Yeah, that was whack. Yeah, they're right. Maybe that's just us too. That's true.
Yeah, but hey,
I don't know. But I don't know if Helenius would take that right now and say, "Yeah, well, I'm building myself up." I think Helenius and Dillian. I think Helenius and Derek.
Jump at the chance.
I think if I'm Derek Chisora, if I'm Derek Chisora, I should try and fight Helenius on a third fight, a second fight. That's what the one he should do. Because Joseph, I don't know why that Joseph Parker fight is even happening.
Yeah,
who wants to see that fight?
Helenius jumps.
Not me.
Hey, what's up, big boy? He said you don't want to see that rematch with Joseph Parker and Chisora?
Nah, I don't want to see it.
Who needs it?
I don't want to see it.
Yeah, you know what? I like Joseph, man, but he's regressed over the last few years, man. I mean, I don't know. How much time does he have left at in his career? What do you think?
He's hanging out with Fury. He's a Fury nut hugger. I saw him in the change room over there. You know what I mean? He's a nut hugger.
He's going to box for another 3 years. Originally, he was saying he's going to box till he's 30, 31. He's 31 now, I think. So, and I think he said he's going to box till 34 now. So that might even stretch out again, depending on how many decent shots he takes throughout the rest of his career.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, I know Joseph's regressing. He's still ranked in the top 10. I think he's still highly ranked. So we haven't brought this up. Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. How does that fight turn out?
Joseph Parker won't take it. Remember, he got offered when he was the OBO champion, and Wilder wanted to fight him. He went on for AJ, so he definitely won't fight Wilder.
Six times.
He got offered $750,000 for a world championship fight unification. Who's gonna take that?
How much did AJ offer him?
$6 million.
In New Zealand dollars, he got $13 million for it.
Okay.
13 million New Zealand. I think it's about 8 million UK.
Right about
I thought that Parker was offered $1 million flat fee, but he wasn't offered any upside on that $1 million purse. So that's probably why he didn't.
It was New Zealand dollars 1 million.
Oh, okay.
Nice money. He won't fight. Why did he want to fight Wilder? Why would your career? And this is what I'm trying to say. Even though Wilder will offer you, none of them guys would want to fight Wilder. He's dangerous. Why would you fight him? He's been avoided. He got avoided by AJ. He got avoided by loads of guys. No one wants to fight Wilder, man. He's a dangerous guy.
Why would Parker have fought him for 1 million when he could have got 6 or 7 or 8?
Yeah, it wasn't long.
I understand that. It was a smart move. But what I'm saying to you is that, again, with Wilder, he's dangerous, but his stock has gone up, in my opinion. He's still, right now, even without a belt, people want to see him. People want to see the rise of Lazarus. They want to see the Phoenix rise. And in America, there's not many. America still is the hotbed of the heavyweight. And he fought over there. So if he goes and fights in Madison Square Garden, the celebrity's going to come out. And you will see, but Wilder's still a draw. You know what I mean? Fury's a draw. Remember that Fury's not even American, bro. And everyone came out. So I think if Wilder fights in Madison Square Garden against a live opponent, bro, it's good for him. But I don't know whether he wins or not. I don't know if he can win no more. I don't know if he's the same guy no more.
Wilder and Fury have only been a draw in America when they've been fighting each other, though.
They're a draw now without each other now. Right now.
Yeah, they'll be a draw without each other.
They're a draw without each other now.
Yeah, they may not draw as big numbers, because you always need a dance partner to draw big numbers, like Canelo, for example.
They've done it now. They're both a massive draw. After what you saw, they are a draw by themselves now. They don't. AJ's the one on the climb right now. You know what I mean? AJ's
what do you think? What do y'all think if Deontay fought Ruiz in a comeback and he took it down to Mexico? Would that do good down there?
Yeah, that would
cool. That would do good.
That'd be good. Yeah,
I'll tell you one thing. I would advise against Deontay to take a fight or he's in a comeback fight. But if he does that, dude, more props to him, because that's still a dangerous fight. More props to him.
And Wilder can beat him. What Wilder got to do is do what AJ did: is turn the back foot, let him walk, and just get the. Because all you want to do is get the ranking and get yourself up into the sanctioning bodies and get yourself another title shot. And that's all this is about. Everyone's been maneuvered. That's all this is about, Because at the end of the day, Wilder only fought Fury is to get more leverage to go back into the AJ's negotiation, which AJ's disappeared now. Because I'm telling you, AJ's the key. If AJ was to retire, the whole division claps down right now. It claps down right now because there's no money. There's no money. AJ brings the most money, bro. Brings the most money.
Hey, Adaria Pettit says that AJ versus Luis Ortiz will be a good test for him next. I mean, that's a southpaw fight. I know that Ortiz was offered the fight, back in 2018 as a replacement opponent, but before that, Hearn and Joshua was avoiding that fight for a while. So that's a southpaw. I mean, he's not as quick as Usyk, but that's a dangerous fight for Joshua. I'm not sure. I mean, it's still a good fight. I probably would still want to see it, but I'm not sure if they would be keen for it now, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's a good point. He also says that I don't want to see.
Luis Ortiz ain't no Alexander Usyk.
That's what I said. He's not Alexander Usyk, but still a dangerous southpaw. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to see Parker versus Chisora again. We all are pretty much in the mutual and consensus of agreement. We're not going to. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it. I like Joseph, but he lost that.
I'm going to watch it. I don't want to see it, but I'll watch it, though.
Yeah.
I'll watch it too. And I'll tell you what, if Parker doesn't stop Chisora this time around, I'm giving up on the dude. Full stop.
I mean, look, Chisora is.
Is Chisora Parker level or is Parker Chisora level?
What do you mean?
I think they're both about the same, to be honest.
because Chisora was seen as this gatekeeper guy, this journeyman gatekeeper, and I thought Parker would knock him out. But then when he didn't, I asked the question, is Chisora Parker level or is Parker Chisora level?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good, interesting question, but
It's a
yeah,
rhetorical
I mean,
question.
maybe it's slightly above, or maybe on the same level, because I thought Derek won that fight, but it is what it is. Derry Pennant says Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. Definitely going to be a slugfest, but I favor Wilder to win that fight. I favor him to beat Chisora.
I don't know who I favor.
That's a decent fight though with that style. I think
I'm
with
saying.
Chizora's style.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
That's
Wouldn't be easy,
fight. I don't
but
know.
I'd pick Wilder too.
I don't. Yeah, Derek Chisora with them hooks, and Derek Chisora could stop Wilder. I'd favor Wilder, but Derek Chisora could stop Wilder. I think.
Yeah, he could. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that.
You're right.
Yeah, Shitbiz says Ortiz did duck Joe Joyce. Yeah, he did. He's been ducking a few fights recently, but he did say, "Hey, look," he did counter that and say, "We could fight on the undercard of Tank Davis and Rolly Romero." I mean, hey, Joe Joyce is off a spot there.
He loves turning down headline spots, doesn't he? To fight on somebody else's undercard. What the hell was that all about?
Well, look, Joe Joyce is not exactly a big headliner, so I mean, why not?
With Sanchez's good win over the weekend, should he be thinking about maybe facing Ortiz?
I like that matchup. I actually like that matchup. 2 Cuban heavyweights against each other. Yeah, I like that. I'll probably favor Sanchez to win it. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quickly. The undercards that happened last night. Frank Sanchez versus Efe Ajagba. I kind of expected the fight the way it went because Ajagba is just too stiff and slow. He's definitely got the power and the reach, but his chin has always been a big concern to me. He was getting hurt multiple times by Sanchez, even got dropped in that fight. So yeah, Sanchez clearly dominated. No argument there. I like Efe, but I don't know how far he can go on the in the world level. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm reading into it too soon. I'm not writing the guy off completely, but he showed some question marks after the Kolazic fight. Especially a journeyman who rocked or hurt you like that badly, almost knocked you out. So I had some concerns there. So what do you guys take on that?
Yeah, I wanted Ajagba to win. I prefer his style. Yes, he's a bit limited. Yes, Sanchez is a very fast counterpuncher who's going to be a problem for most people in the heavyweight division. Personally, I don't like Sanchez's style, even though it's a good style and it's a safe style for him. His brain's going to be healthy when he retires, so long as his reflexes keep up. But personally, I don't like to watch. I don't like that style. I prefer Efe's style. Sanchez is the better boxer. But you know what, guys? I got to run. Take care to everybody. But peace out. I got to go.
Stay safe,
Rafi. Take care, Rafi. Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think about Efe Ajagba, man? Do you guys think he can recover from this loss? Where does he go from here?
You on it, EJ? Or my guy?
Yeah, you can go ahead, big boys. Go ahead, man. EJ could come chime back in. Go ahead.
Sweet. Well, yeah, Ajagba, he can bounce back and take some decent fights. Personally, I don't see him being a world champion. I never have. He's just a bit slow. His footwork is quite terrible. But he does have that. It's like Wilder. He has an equalizer in that right hand. He has a decent left hook, but he doesn't have the chin of Wilder either, I don't think.
He does.
Yeah, I picked that fight Sanchez to win on points. I just thought the style matchup was a nightmare for Efe as soon as it got announced. It's sad for Efe, and many people aren't going to like the style that Frank Sanchez boxes with, but it's effective, it's smart, and he could go a long way, give a lot of guys a lot of trouble. So yeah, it was okay to watch.
Bro, Frank, I was amazed by him, bro. I was amazed because I saw Efe Ajagba fight all these stiffs and lay them out, and that's what now he fought a live opponent, and you saw he was just like he went in the fight. So you could fight in bums, yeah, but when you go against a top tier level opponent, top 5 opponent, you ain't about that. So I like Frank Sanchez. I like what he did. He handled him. He let him know that if you step in there, you're gonna get knocked out. And he put intimidation in him. And I say he's gonna be a problem for Filahovic. He's gonna be a follow for Tony Yoko, a problem for Joe Joyce, 100%. All these guys, they're gonna have a problem with this guy here. You know what I mean? And you saw the rise of the real Big Baby Miller, but he looked small about Big Baby. That guy looked tiny. But Frank Sanchez, I looked at him. I said, that guy, he's speed. He's got a good size. He's fast. I believe he could be Usyk. I believe he could be Usyk because you see how he keeps switching from southpaw to orthodox, and Usyk's doing his in and out style, and he hits hard. Like he don't hit like Usyk. Usyk hits, it's like a tap, tap, tap. No, this guy's got explosive power, man. And he's like, bro, that guy is a problem. They talk about Usyk. I'm telling you, Frank, they're gonna be avoiding him. It's a shame. I'm glad he was the PBC so he can get a title shot, but I was very impressed by him. And F.A. Jobber is a very dangerous opponent, even though he's been knocking out stiffs, but he had no answers for him. Most heavyweights, in fact, F.A. Jobber reminded me of Anthony Joshua. That's like a robotic. And F.A. Jobber should have never lost Ronnie Shields. He disrespected Ronnie Shields and he went out there and done his own thing. He went to ESPN. And now look at it now. Like, you had no game plan. The people in the corner didn't know what they were doing. And then almost like a Wilder effect where you want to run your own corner. Well, look how that works, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Frank Chance, he is a problem. He's a Rubik's Cube problem with a lightning power. I don't like any of Lara. I think Lara's very boring. But Frances, because the way he can light you up pretty quickly, he's dangerous. You can see if he wanted to and pull it on him, he would. But he's like, I'm going to school you, let you know that if you step here, you're going to knock out. Do you want to get knocked out, son? I go, no. Okay, don't behave yourself then, and I'll just box you. That's what was going on, and that's why I'm laughing my head off.
I agree. I think Frank Sanchez is going to get heavily avoided, man, because nobody wants. I think after that performance to get what he put on a job, nobody want to go near him now for a while. Nobody wants to go near him. I mean, it's going to take a while. They're probably going to hope for him to slow down. Perfect time to fight him. But speaking of FA, man, I think it's the question needs to be asked. Well, you think this was too soon for him to take a fight like this at this world stage? He probably needed like 5 more fights before.
No, we ain't got time for that.
A few more fights.
No, we ain't got time for that. You see, back in the golden age of the heavyweights, they always used to fight each other to get to that Muhammad Ali money. And Muhammad Ali used to pick them off. That's what you got here. There's a golden pot there. There's money. You can't sit there and fight bums and then get up. You need to. People need to look on this, right? Nothing as well, by the way. Did anyone care that Fury had a draw on his record and Wilder had losses? Didn't care. As long as these guys came to fight. And that's what we should be getting at. I don't care if guys got losses on their record. You know what I mean? As long as you keep getting shots to get back up there, you should keep going. And that's why I feel with what we saw between Top Rank and PVC, they're going to put fights. They're doing what old school used to do. We don't care if you got wins or losses. We're just going to put the great fights for the fans. That's what Bob Arum and
that's what I was gonna say. Shout out to Top Rank at PBC. They've been doing a lot of collaborations over the year, man. They're putting a lot of great fights together. This is why I like cross promotional fights. Fuck politics. Give the fans the fights that we're willing to pay for, man. Like you said, forget about the wins and losses, man. We don't care about losses. As long as you put on great shows, great fights, that's it. And last night proved it. Wilder and Fury was a classic heavyweight battle. Classic trilogy to close that chapter. Not saying it's the greatest, but it's one of the greatest fight trilogies I've ever seen in the heavyweights. One of the greatest. So, not saying again, I don't want people to misconstrue it. It's not up there on the level of Frazier and Ali. It's not on the level of Ezra Charles and Jersey Joe Wilcott. I get that, but I'm just saying it is, like EJ said, based on modern day era, is probably you can say it is at this modern day era. It is. So. Well, but anyway, I mean, Bo and Holyfield won't top that, obviously. But BG London said that, not BG London. Adori says that F.A. Jabba needs a Sugar Hill Stewart. He needs Sugar Hill Still type of trainer. I'm not sure what Sugar Hill could do for him. I mean, it's going to take a long time for F.A. to adapt to Kronk style fighting, because I think one of the complaints about him is that he has difficulty adapting at a certain time. So, let me give you the link on Rival. So I'm not too sure. Sugar Hill could probably do something with him, but I don't know, man. I don't know what you can do with FA, man. I really don't know. He is who he is. He's too rude. Rudimentary, yeah.
No, he's too rude in terms of disrespectful. In terms of coming to England, America, Ronnie Shaw's looking after him. He was on a PBC. He left PBC, went to ESPN. And now, you find Sanchez. That's why Frank Sanchez put it on him. And he was talking reckless as well. And he got school. Yo, what's that? Usyk with the dark light. He got the cool guy. What's up,
That's not on Rival. That's Mark. What's up, Mark?
Yo, what's poppin'?
What's happening, man? We're talking about the great heavyweight fight we saw last night, man. One of the greatest trilogies in my book. So I'm not sure what's your thoughts on that. What's your take about last night, man?
Last night was one of the most dramatic fights I've ever seen in my whole life. I use the term dramatic because a lot of people they may confuse when I say greatest fights with skill, which I'm not referring to. It wasn't the most skilled fight I've ever seen. I think that's fair to say, but it was dramatic as anything. That was the theater of the unexpected. It seemed like Wilder was done after Fury dropped him, and then he landed those 2 shots on him, and then it felt like Fury was going to be done. And then kind of like from the 7th round on, you kind of got the idea Fury was going to win, but Wilder clipped him again. Looked like maybe he'd go down, but he didn't, and then Fury pushed on through. And that knockout is one of the most fitting ends to a trilogy I've ever seen. That knockout was crazy. That Rory hand. Like, it was like
crazy.
Something of a Rocky movie in slow-mo, bro. It's like a Rocky movie. It's like Hollywood cinematography.
It's funny though, because when Wilder went down that 11th round, man, he kind of got up immediately, but we knew he was done. He couldn't continue. He got up immediately. It's not like he was laid out cold as people say he was. No, he wasn't laid out cold.
He was down for like 4 seconds, and then he managed to stand up in like half a second. I don't know how the fuck he did that, but he was done.
Exactly.
He was done. Referee made the right call.
Yeah,
referee made the right call.
Yeah, I agree. There's no complaint there, man. He was done. But let me just say this, man. Wilder showed that he's got a beard, man. That man took some monster shots throughout the fight. I was like, how the hell is this man still standing? He went 11 rounds taking these shots, man. You know, people criticize his legs and all, and I say, dude, you got to stop looking into that. Legs is not going to help your punch resistance. I'm sorry. It only helps your balance, but not your punch resistance, because Joshua got strong legs.
Helps you get away from punches, though. Helps you get away from punches.
That's true. But the fact is that man took eating a lot of Fury's big punches in that fight. He kept coming at, he just wouldn't give up. And then to be fair, as Mark said, you think in the 7 rounds, 7th into the 10th or whatever, the 7th to the 11th, Fury would get the upper hand, but it's like he kept getting caught like during at the end of the rounds where he's hurt. It's like, oh shit, now I went back at him, So let me just say this, man. I'm not sure what's your take on this, O'Reilly. I just think that this was a career-changing fight for both men, particularly Wilder, obviously, because he received the worst end of it. But I think Fury, this changed his career too. I mean, in a way where these fighters both of them are not going to be the same again. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's highly probable that both guys might not be the same after this fight. I think much more so in Wilder's case, because he took much more of a beating in that fight. Much more. He looked damaged after that fight. But fair play to him. Just fair play to him. Fury, his recovery powers seem to be pretty good. Imagine taking 2 right hands from Wilder and getting up. Don't know how he did that either, to be honest with you. I'm just still in a little bit of shock. As far as I think Wilder may retire. That's what I'm thinking. But he may not. He may want to have one more fight and go out on a win, or maybe he wants to keep going. Maybe he thinks he still can go. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not him. I don't get to make that decision. But I don't think he has to. A lot of people will be like, oh, he didn't do this. I don't think he really has a lot to prove. He proved to be one of the better heavyweights of this era.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best heavyweight record, but based off what he was able to do, I mean, I know trajectory in media, let's say he's a media darling, but he was respected. Let's put it that way. Respected by the media for some parts. I think he will go down and say, okay, if he retires now, is he a Hall of Famer? In my book, no. But I think based off the media's eyes, he'll probably go into the Hall of Fame.
He's close. He's close. He needs one more. He needs one more big win. I think he can't. I think if I know Malik's an all right trainer, but to get what Malik's trying to get at, it probably takes longer. You know what I mean? And Wilder really is not a long 12-round fight. He tries to get you out there. I think that's when Malik and Malik not really understanding that. Malik's trying to make Wilder understand that Wilder's a grown man, bro. You know what I mean? He's a grown man. He is what he is. You know what I mean? You could change someone and tell a duck that he can tell a duck that he can't swim or he can't fly. But end of the day, a duck's a duck, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Malik can tell us all this shit, And that's what other trainers, it takes a very long time. And he's old, you know what I mean? He's set in his ways. As you've seen, he stopped jabbing to the body. He went back to what he did. He did the same thing he did in the second fight, had his hand up there, and Fury kept peppering him, and working him. Fury did more him. So, you know, what Wilder's going to look at it. So, which guy can I fight to draw some money? Because in the day, he's got a wife, he's got kids. They need to bring that money in. You know what I mean? People had a great
kids,
fight.
Boy. Yeah, he's got those 8 kids.
Yeah,
so
you got to pay. You got bills, man. You got bills. You got land.
He's got. You see his compound over in Northport in Alabama, man.
Nice, beautiful
compound, dude. That ain't cheap.
That ain't cheap, man. That's and you know the entourage is gonna be leaving. His brother Marcellus is moving out right now because people don't like to be around losers. That's how people are. It's straight. Frank Bruno used to have a house in Essex, and everyone was over there. But when he lost, bro, he was in there by himself. His wife left him, and that girl he's with, I don't know, she might leave Wilder. There's all kinds of things gonna happen to a fighter when they lose. They start going, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what happened to Mike Tyson. That's what happened to guys who are on the top for a while. When they start losing, then people don't want to be around. It's kind of like being a recording artist. You start, you're on top of the world. You're selling a lot of records. You're getting all this fame and fortune. When all that dries up, nobody wants to be around you anymore.
AJ's getting that. AJ's getting that right now. AJ lost and whatever.
That's true.
And people like AJ, but at the end of the day, they look at him, bro, where's them belts? Because you look a bit lighter. And you know what I mean? Fury, like this is the truth, bro. You look at guys, Fury's this guy's got all the glory, all the accolades. And if you're a fighter, you're like, yo, he's got the shit, man. And Fury's sitting there pretty. He can control the negotiations. He can tell you where and when. All I'm looking for Fury now is to come to London or Manchester, or whatever, and do a stadium fight. And AJ's done for. Because if the man can do a stadium against anyone, then he's on that AJ money. You understand? And that's all you need. And then all them AJ, what are they gonna say? The man's coming back to England, and he should be out on an open Airbus all around London or Manchester, and Frank Warren needs to promote him well. That's what he needs right now. He needs to be promoted very well to market him, to put him out there, adverts, TVs like Henry Cooper, and get him that money he deserves, and so we can have the big fights. People need to stop that. So that's where we are, because Fury deserves it. After that fight, he did, and Wilder deserves, and America are gonna back Wilder. No doubt about it. America are gonna back Wilder. So I think they still can draw. In terms of fighting them, and you know what? Maybe people say let's do a 4th fight. I think I'm going to say this real quickly, Mark. Real quickly, I'm not keen on that 4th fight right now. But let's say down the road, another few years, when Wilder gets back into form, he's in winning. He's going back to his winning strides. If Fury's still around and still on top, then maybe we could see that 4th fight, just like we saw Marquez and Pacquiao. I know people weren't really clamoring for it, but you get my drift. I mean, like I said though. Again, I don't want to see it right now, but definitely like 4 or 5 years down the road, if they're still fighting, or maybe 3 years when they're not really at their best anymore, then why not? Why not give a fan another entertaining fight? What are you guys' thoughts? Go ahead, Mark.
I like it.
Yeah, okay. What about you, Mark? What do you think?
I've had me fill. Yeah, I've had enough Sunday dinners with this one.
Yeah, I would. But the thing is, the belts are locked up now. Who's the champion? So Fury is the linear, the WBC, Ring Magazine. He's that, right? So who's the other guy? Usyk. So there's only 2 lanes you need to go, either to Fury or you go to that guy. Usyk's are probably gonna beat Joshua again. So then there's only 2 lanes. Usyk. You think if I'm Usyk, do I really want to fight Fury? I know if I'm Fury,
give Fury so many problems, bro.
If I'm Fury, I'll fight that guy.
Say it again, Dan. Say it again.
I think Usyk's gonna give Fury so much problems.
I don't know, bro. If I'm Fury, I'm eating that guy for lunch, bro.
Nah, he can't do. No, he ain't gonna maul.
That guy.
I'm telling you that right now.
Food. Bro,
he ain't gonna maul Usyk like he did Wilder, because Wilder's more stationary than Usyk.
Nah, I'm telling you right now. If it's food easy, that big heavyweight. 6'9", he ain't gonna do that AJ bullshit. He gonna look. You saw what he did to Wilder. That's what AJ should have did to him. He gonna beat the shit out of Usyk, man.
That's a problem.
Hold up. Look what Derek Shore did. And you're dealing with the freaking gypsy. You're crazy. He's gonna maul that dude. He gonna bite. He gonna lick his blood and beat the shit out of Usyk. He gonna say you got no. And you know Fury's wild, yeah. You got no business being in my division. He's gonna let him know that you're gonna get smacked up. I'm telling you, bro. There's no way that guy's ever gonna lose to that bloody little guy. If Fury be licking his lips, say you up? I got a little one. Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that all day. You watch, man. Now, listen, Fury right now, you might say Fury's the undisputed champion. Usyk can't beat him. AJ's got a better chance though, but I don't know what AJ's mindset. I don't know what's wrong with AJ.
AJ's not beating Usyk. I'm sorry. That's a horrible matchup for him.
Not beating Usyk.
He's not beating him. I'm sorry.
Nah.
Can AJ make adjustments? Absolutely. But this is not Andy Ruiz, a guy, again, I hate to repeat myself. This is not a guy who's not known to be a disciplinary fighter when he's not fighting. And then he's not eating burgers, or he's not eating pizzas. He's not eating all this chocolates and Snicker bars during training camps. No, Usyk is a different animal. This guy is constantly training, constantly in shape, takes the sports very seriously. He's been around for many, many, many fucking years, and he's been fighting big men, for most part of his career, particularly in the amateur. So this guy's used to it. And AJ, trying to adapt to a new style 6 months, and he's still with Robin McCracken? Nah, man, I just don't see. It's just no way. In fact, again, Usyk was expecting a guy like AJ to maul him. That's what he was prepared for. And then he said, you know what? This fight was easier than I thought, because the guy was trying to box with me. That's what he didn't expect. So, AJ could try the mauling tactics all he wants to, but I just don't think he has the endurance or the durability to do it. He just doesn't have it. That's just my view. Go ahead, guys.
I'm kind of partially agreeing with you when it comes to Fury with Usyk as well. His feet are faster than Fury's, so I think Fury's going to have trouble catching up there with him. There is going to be situations where he does manage to get hold of the smaller man and lay on him and try and make him tired, but it's going to be few and far between. As far as I can tell, with that foot speed. And he's got faster hands than Fury as well. I know Fury's pretty quick, but he can get in and out. If Fury doesn't get hold of him, he's going to do some work, and he's going to be out on the outside again, running around saying, come catch me. Come on, big fatty.
Right.
But
yeah. I think
I'd still put Fury possibly.
Yeah, you would put Fury on paper, but Aob says that shout out to Aob's in chat. He says Spencer Farron just said that he heard AJ is leaving Robin McCracken. So EJ, did you hear anything about that? That's kind of like breaking news if that's true. Well, EJ's on the he's on mute. But hey, you think is that Mark? Did you hear anything about that? Because that's what Spencer Farron just said according to Aob's.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Is that true?
I didn't hear that.
I haven't talked to Spencer for a while. So if that's what's said, he should leave Rob. He should leave Rob because end of the day, the guy wasn't there. And you could patch things up. A water bucket was got water, but you can't. The man was at the Tokyo Olympics. You got one of your biggest fights coming up, and Eddie Hearn and what Eddie Hearn and the team have been doing. It's like they're not giving AJ 100%. This man should have 100% attention. He should have a training with him all the time. Rob McCracken has other things going on. If you're with the TGB and they tried to make amateur trainers pro, they tried to make it work. It's not working. AJ needs a full-time trainer. Tim Witherspoon said he'd want to be there. There's various coaches out there, Mr. James Ali Bashir, there's Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. There's many coaches out there who would be with AJ, but the only thing is, it's the circumstances. AJ needs to go where he can get quality sparring, where he can learn his craft and get better. And I think AJ is a very good student of the game. But if he stays where he end up like James DeGale, because James DeGale used to be with Jimmy McDonald, and I felt that he should have left Jimmy McDonald years ago, and he stayed with Jimmy, and his career ended and it ended terribly because all Jimmy knew is conditioning. He never taught him anything more than that. And and you can see that they've got to the end of the road. If AJ stays with Rob McCracken going into the Usyk fight, he loses. If he goes to another trainer, it's going to take a while to change the style. But as you see with Wilder, a new trainer gives you a new lease of life, gives you new confidence, gives you new belief. Wilder had new belief going into that fight. Now Fury knocked it out of him, but it's a new trainer. Help Fury in his second fight, help Fury. So that's what I feel. If he's
let me look at this comment right here. This guy, I don't know. This is a troll guy. He says that white boxers are just naturally stronger. I don't know how to answer that question.
Racist.
I mean,
Racist.
Yeah. I saw the comment, but he's obviously just trolling because they're trying to get attention. You should. That's what I saw. That you shouldn't really highlight that on your screen now.
Yeah, I should have.
Really, truly, that's not a really.
Anyways, if you're saying that Fury was put on a master show last night, then you're totally wrong, man. Because he was in a war. He could have got knocked out in that fight, and he knew it. And he was hurt and exhausted just as Wilder was, but to be fair, Wilder got the worst end of it. So Fury knew what he was in for last night, and that's why he's come out and said that I'm not thinking about any fights right now. I'm gonna go away for a long time. I'm gonna spend at least 6-7 months with my family, and that's it.
Resting up. Yeah, that's right.
Rest it up.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. All right, Hamed, shout out to Hamed in the chat. He says that who would have won between Wilder or Joshua last night? In my opinion, Wilder would have won. If Joshua could hurt him, it would have not gone 11 rounds.
Well,
yeah, it's kind of like
Which one? Joshua versus Joshua fought Usyk and the Wilder fought tonight?
No. He's saying if Wilder or Joshua would have fought each other, who would have won? Last
night. But I'm saying the one who fought the AJ who fought Usyk and the Wilder who fought tonight, who would have won right at that fight?
I think Wilder would have won.
Wilder would have won, man. Wilder would have won.
What about the AJ who fought Klitschko against Wilder?
Nah, that one. No, that AJ would have won that one. That's the AJ. That's the one we know. The one who turned into a monster the moment he got down. He went right for Klitschko and kept throwing him to Klitschko's on the ground. That's the one I remember. That's the AJ I know, the one who's just gonna be on it and just keep coming. You know,
the one that's disappeared since he got stopped by Ruiz.
Because they told him stop. They told him to stop doing that. That's what I'm trying to. They took it away from him. They told him don't do that. You're gonna get hurt, and they took it away from him. And then he got no. That's why I say you're looking at a guy with no confidence in himself, and that all comes from Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken's like, did you hear him after the post fight? Do you know what he said? He said, I can't believe Josh has had 10 defenses. I said, oh my god. He goes, he's still learning. I said, my God. I couldn't believe
7
defenses. My jaw dropped, man.
7 defenses. I couldn't believe he said that, man. I was like, what? Where's your mentality? Like, you're still looking at him like a kid who's coming to an amateur, just came in Team GB. I mean, this is why you get rid of your amateur coaches, bro. That, come on, you can't. When I heard that, it's just disappointing.
You can't be saying stuff like that about a guy. Look, he's not new anymore. This is an Olympic gold medalist, right? A 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. This ain't no fucking beginner.
No.
You don't do that as a beginner.
Yeah, I think you know what though. I think what he was applying, and I'm not sticking up for Rob McCracken, but I'm just giving my analysis of what he was saying. I think what he was saying is that look, AJ was rushed. Okay, he's still learning on the job while he's being rushed. That may be true, but nobody's going to care about that.
On the job. Everyone's learning on the job.
Well, that's a good point.
Nobody's perfect. There's no such thing as fighters get better as they go on, and different fights can either improve them or ruin them.
When they say that, they're saying that, so if he loses, the cushion's not going to be bad, so we can protect him. That's all this is about, protecting him. If we say that he's young and stuff it's like David Haye when he got beat up by Carl Thompson, he was only a baby. But hold on a minute, we're in boxing. This is when people do things in boxing when they're young. When you're old, that's when you get battered. So what are you talking about? Mike Tyson was young. We loved it when Mike Tyson was one of the youngest heavyweight champions of all time. We loved it. It was like, he's young because we knew he had years in front of us. When you're in there with Joshua, he's still a baby. What are you talking about? When I heard that, I've never heard such nonsense in my head. Like you're treating him like baby gloves, like he's a little kid. Bruv, stop that bullshit. And this is what I'm trying to say, being around the amateur circuit, that's what they do. In amateur circuit, you can baby someone. Get rid of that shit. You're a professional athlete. You have millions and millions of endorsements and money. And that's how he got treated when he fought Usyk. I mean, the game plan was so amateurist. I mean, what did we see there? We saw a man just give up his belts, and then he was happy that he went the distance, and he was on his stool. I mean, you're talking about conditioning. His conditioning was awful.
Yeah. I mean, these are all great points, man. These are all great points. But like I said, though, even if he gets rid of Rob McCracken, I think he should do. I just don't think it's enough time to prepare with a new trainer to adapt to a new style. Now, opposed to Wilder with the Malik Scott situation, they had 18 months. So no excuses there. So they have plenty of time to get prepared and get Wilder ready for a new style of fighting against Fury. Now, Joshua's only got 6 months, 5 to 6 months. So if he gets rid of Rob McCracken and gets a new trainer, then I don't think that's going to do any good. I think if you're going to get rid of Rob McCracken and get a new trainer, I think they should forego the Usyk rematch and just take on some two interim fights and before they go back into the Usyk fight. That's just my opinion. That's how Lennox Lewis did it when he lost to Arvin McCall. He got Emmanuel Stewart and they had some interim fights, so that way he could get used to his style and they can further develop a relationship together. So, look, AJ's in a tough spot, and like I said, though, going into this rematch with Usyk is a bad idea. I'm just being honest. Terrible style matchup. I just don't see him winning it. Will he make improvements? Yes, but it won't be enough. I'm just being honest. It will not be enough. The only way he could beat Usyk is going to take an act of God. That's just about
lucky punch.
Yo, a lucky punch, exactly. It's gonna take an act of God to beat Usyk, especially a guy who's at the prime of his career right now. So, Hamed says no need for a fourth fight unless Wilder beats Usyk or Joshua. I wouldn't say that. I would say, yeah, that'd be one of the criterias, but I would also say if Wilder could put on a string of wins, if he could capture a world title somewhere, then yeah, and have some successful title defenses, then yeah, I think that it'll warrant a fourth fight. I just don't think him beating one of those guys should immediately get him back into a match with Fury. I just don't favor that. Let me see. Hamed says I disagree with EJ on Usyk. In my opinion, Usyk has far more skills. He's got more speed than Wilder, but Wilder has always been a dangerous fight for Usyk than Joshua. That's true. That's true, Ahmed. I mean, good point there. Let me see. I hope the Bridgerweight division gets canceled because there's no need for that. I agree. The WC need to scrap that bullshit division. I mean, look, Oscar Rivas is going to more likely win against whoever his opponent name is, man. Nobody's going to give a fuck. Nobody's going to care. I mean, all what's going to happen is Oscar Rivas, if he can't get no fights, like, you know, that many fights, he's going to vacate the belt and then move up and then call him a former world champion. That's all he's going to do. Let me see. Let me see. AOB's a good decision. Shout out to Fight Doctor. Fight Doctor says a prime Larry Holmes would have cleaned out today's heavyweight division, Usyk and Fury included. That's a good. I mean, I probably would agree with that. Maybe.
I don't know why you hesitating, Dan. You already know that shit.
Well, yeah, the reason why I'm hesitating because you have to understand that the physical attributes back then, the heavyweights weren't that big. So that's one. Number two, you had I mean, Larry Holmes fought Jared Cooney. Jared Cooney was what, 6'6", 6'7", I think, roughly there.
I think it was 6'5".
6'5", yeah. And Larry Holmes has never fought a 6'9" or 6'8" guy like Fury with that much body mass. He's never fought like a guy like that before. As far as Usyk, he's never fought anyone with the skills of Usyk in his time. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but maybe. But it's hard to say. He
probably would beat Usyk, definitely. Then he probably would beat Tyson Fury because I mean, you can say the same thing for about Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes just bounce circles.
About you doing the robot, man. Okay, now you sound better.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound like you're fading away with the robot sound, but you're okay now. All right.
I said I think you would probably box circles around just about everybody because nobody really matches his level of skill.
Right. BG London says that. Do you think this was Wilder's last best performance? I can't think of a better one. You know what? It was his most courageous performance. I would say that. As far as his best performance, I would say the Severn first fight was his better performance because he didn't really take no shots in that fight. Maybe a couple shots here and there, but he fought a very beautiful fight that night when he won the world title. So I would say that was his best performance. But as far as his most courageous performance, where he gave a great effort, yeah, last night did prove it because everybody was counting him out. They thought he didn't have a chance against Fury. He proved it last night that he did. He did. So, and he could have got Fury out of there. All right, take care, big boys, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. I really appreciate it. Anytime. Mitchell Bolzan says, "Is this the best trilogy we've seen?" No, not overall as far as history is concerned, but in recent memory, I would say yeah. But it's not on par with the Riddick Bowe or Evander Holyfield. It's not on that level. But if you want to talk about recent memory, what was the last trilogy heavyweight fight we've seen other than Wilder and Fury 3? I think it was Ruiz and John Ruiz, that is. John Ruiz and Evander Holyfield. That was the last trilogy heavyweight fight that we've seen. And I can tell you that this trilogy fight between Wilder and Fury was much better than Ruiz and Holyfield. Not from as far as technical standpoint, as far as the dramatic, as far as the excitement. Both men hurting each other, both men knocking each other down. But Wilder received the worst end of it, where he got stopped twice in the last two fights. So, yeah, it was definitely it was like, you know, Fury. It's like Fury would get the upper hand, but you don't know. Wilder's very dangerous, man. He'll catch you, and then you're almost gone. So that's what happened to Fury last night, and he took a lot more shots in this fight than we normally seen him. That's the most I've seen Tyson Fury get hit by anybody. The most. Mitchell says, yeah, last night he proved this all well. Yeah, Wilder, despite the fact he did not show good sportsmanship at the end, which I thought that was a bad look, But at the end of the day, I think people do understand that his performance outweighs that. You know what I mean? People kind of like, okay, you know what? He did show poor sportsmanship, but the man fought his ass off. He almost knocked Fury out. He had him hurt multiple times in that fight, especially at the end of the round 7, like 7 through 10. He was hurting him at the end, hurting him at the end when he thought he was out. So it was just like, wow, man, you just didn't know what was going to happen. I thought the fight was going to go the distance, but I was 1 round short. It is what it is. So what else we got here? I know we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. So, Battle, what's your thoughts, man? Do you think Wilder can come back from this? Do you think he's done? Battle?
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I said, no, he's not really done. He still can beat most heavyweights, honestly. He probably still beats almost everyone with the exception of AJ and Fury. So I don't think
you don't think he can beat AJ?
No, I mean he can beat AJ, but it's one of those things that I probably say it's still kind of, it's a chance that he still could lose that one. If anything, more than anybody, it's AJ and Fury that can still beat him.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm watching the fight. Yeah, Fury, he's lethal. What Manios to it. What Javon Hill told him is that when he goes to Wilder, he throws a left hook and he steps in with the right because Wilder's hands down, so he blinds him with the left hook. See, that's what Lennox Lewis did to Hassan Ratman. You know what I mean? Lennox Lewis threw a right and he threw his left hook behind Hassan Ratman's guard, and that's how he knocked him out. But with Wilder, he's throwing left hook, but he's landing it. He's baiting him for a straight right. That's why he kept getting Wilder down the pipe. And that was the adjustments that Fury was doing. That Sugar Hill, you could clearly see in this fight, Sugar Hill's imprint on Wilder. Remember, he had Adonis Stevenson who used to knock out guys over there. You know what I'm saying? So he's put that into Fury, and Fury's I'm not gonna lie, them two between Sugar Hill and Tyson Fury, they're a dangerous combination, bro.
Oh yeah,
really talk. They're a very dangerous combination. It's not Fury you're dealing with that. Sugar Hill was very, very intelligent, bro. Like you could clearly see that Fury compared to when he was with Ben Davis and them guys, that he's a complete better fighter, much better fighter.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, man. But yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys. I think we discussed a lot, went over a lot today, man. Man, I know you just came in the last minute, but I appreciate you giving a little insight of about Wilder, where he can go from here. But yeah, man, we'll have to chop it up. Thanks for coming in, man. EJ, as always, a pleasure. Thanks for coming in, bro. Big Boys and Rival, I know they just love, so shout out to them. Shout out to the chat too, man. All the rest of the guys. I can't name all you because I have a lot of guys that came in that's new. So thanks to you guys for participating in the poll that I put up, my first ever poll. I put up, do you think, we had at least 31 votes here, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder War, is this one of the greatest heavyweight trilogies of all time? 65% said yes, 35% said no. So obviously most agree that it was one of the greatest, but not the greatest. So let's not get it twisted. It's one of the greatest, but not the greatest.
I don't know why
I
don't know why I don't know why people need to demigrate it down. If you remember again, like when people saw Max Mellon, Joe Lewis, people in that era, you can't tell them that wasn't the greatest show that they saw. If we're in this era now, and that's the greatest movie we're going to see, we don't have to class it with the others. That's what it is. This is this generation now. So in terms of the other fight, it's not going to belittle it. What you saw yesterday was a historical, great all-time classic fight, and I don't think people need to say or it needs to be compared to the other. It's in its own category of one of the greatest trilogies you've ever seen in boxing these days in the heavyweight division. That's what it was. That's what it is.
Right, I agree with that, man. But yeah, but Mitchell Buzz is Ridley Scott deserves some respect here. I mean, we're all doubtful of what he could do at Wilder. I saw the adjustments in the first round, man. He actually did a good job with Wilder, keeping him in there. But the thing I would say though, Malik, though, that he should have told Wilder to keep his hands up and stop moving over to his left where he was going to be hit with the right by Fury. He should have told him to move to his right rather than to his left. He's going to back up like that. But I would say this though. Malik was yelling at Wilder like no one else would ever do, like Mark Breland would never yell at him. He was yelling at him, like, dude, wake the fuck up, and you gotta, you could take care of this guy if you stick to the game plan. You know what I mean? He had to yell at him and tell him to wake the fuck up. So As far as his hand being broken is concerned, look, we all knew that was going to happen. That was inevitable if you're going to put on MX, MX Everlast gloves. We knew that was going to happen. So yeah, Malik definitely deserves some respect, man. He prepared Wilder to fight the best courageous performance we've ever seen him fight. This is not his best overall performance, but he put on a great effort. He could have.
Dan, where you going? Go ahead, Dan. You disappeared, Dan. What's that, Michael? What's it? Beltron, him left hand. What's it? Once Wilder got stunned, yeah, he reverted back to his old habits. He did, yeah, he did, Stephen. He did. I'm watching the joint right now. Dan, man, hopefully Dan will come back on. I think he's got technical problems. Sure he'll be back on shortly. Yeah, I'm watching the fight right now as we speak right now, and it just you can clear as you watch it now in a clear of day with less emotions. You can clearly see that the imprint of yeah, he's having a technical problem. He'll be back. You can clearly see that Wilder is not only fighting Fury, he's bloody fighting Sugar Hill in the background. Oh, Malik wants Wilder to follow the game plan, but the game plan's changed. Fury has had enough of just standing there and Wilder. He's decided to maul him. You know, that's a part of the game plan. There you go. He's back now. Dan's back.
Yeah, my bad. My laptop ran. Just about to put battery on it. Yeah, man. So BG London says if Wilder continues, Malik will work on 100% defense. Yeah, I think Malik will have to train him on to be more defensive. He'll probably train him to be more mindful of defense and offense. So I think that's what's going to happen. But the thing is, though, once he gets hit, though, he's going to go back to his old habits. And that's exactly what happened. He went back to his old habits when he got clipped in that first round at the end. When he won, by the way. He outboxed Fury in that round. So, yeah. Yeah, dude. I think that wraps it up. I think Wilder, me personally, does this end his career? I don't know. But I definitely do know it's not going to be the same. Same thing with Fury. Fury's career is definitely not going to be the same either. Let's not get that twisted. Let's not get that twisted. So, yeah, man. Thanks again, EJ, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome, Dan. You take care of yourself, man. Peace out.
All right, man. Peace out, man. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for chiming in. I'm out. Peace.